Hey y'all, happy Friday. We are going to just get going because I've been trying to figure out which way to go about this. And there's no way to really we're just going to do it because there is so much misinformation once again being thrown every single direction. It's impossible to keep up. It is so out of hand and it is on a full steam ahead. Like the amount of misinformation, intentional chaos, fabricated bullshit, characters inserting themselves, like all of it is just an overload at this point. How are all of you? What are you all up to? Any weekend plans? Anybody got anything fun coming up? Hey, Claus. Hey, Tracy. Ava, Lurker, Whispers in the Shadows, Rondi, Thor, Steph. Back in my day. Oh my gosh, she was on it last night. And then Greg, Stonefly Blue, Peanut Shell, Loose Lucy, Cynthia. This has gotten so fast. Like the amount, I guess it really hasn't slowed down. It's kind of taken a little turns here and there with certain people exiting out of the situation. Then new characters come in. It's just been this revolving shit show all along. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Patricia. Kimberly. Rock a bit. A one-way street. Sparkle. I have not checked. Were they on a post or a video? Hey, Trixies. Darby, it has been wild. Hey, Napa Valley girl. Who said Jennifer Coffindaffer scammed anyone? Sparkle Pussy. What a name, by the way. I'm not sure where you got that. Crazy shit going on. Absolutely, there is. Hey, Mona. Pepperminty. Cornholio boards. No, I'm just joking. Hey, Sheila. What my beef is with Jennifer. I don't have a beef with Jennifer. That's weird. That's fucking weird. She is a fellow creator on this app who I have zero respect for. Maybe I should start there. Hey, Kathy. This whole weird thing, hey, Miss Britt, this whole thing that just because somebody has worked for the FBI or is a fellow creator on this app that they're due respect is the weirdest thing. Like, since when are we expected to respect people? We just have to give respect to anybody and everybody because they at one time worked for the FBI and claimed to be a professional? Huh? So weird. Misery loves company. Well, you can have your feelings, Sparkle Pussy, but you're not going to change mine. Hey, Toe Beans. Hey, Smurfette. Yeah, these aren't new ones either. Hey, Aries. Yeah, I don't think he was the one that got a one-way street, was he? I didn't see sniffers asking for money any time. No, you're allowed to be here, Sparkle Pussy. You're jumping the gun here. You're like really anxiously like, whew, I'll walk you through and I'll show you what is problematic to me. Okay. Oh, really, Aries? I'm sorry about that. Hey, Chopper. Yeah, there's already drama. Imagine that. Like, people just come in. Oh, Sparkle Pussy, you're entitled to be here, but you're not going to change my opinion on Jennifer, and I'm not attempting to change yours. I'm just going to play her own words. Hey, Pika. Okay, let's just get going because people are already jumping at the gun. If this triggers you, if me reviewing her, this is all under fair use. This is what she put out here publicly. If this is going to bother you, please remain calm in the chat or exit your way out. You're adults. It is what it is. But this is going to be an evolving mess because we're going to start with Coffindaffer and just get worse. Okay, great. I've not seen any of her doing anything good for anybody besides herself and promoting her career. Great, but she's a beautiful woman. Sparkle Pussy, do you want pom-poms to be her cheering squad? You're allowed to do that. If you want the pom-poms and to be her number one cheerleader, you can do that. Absolutely. Okay, let's go. Yeah, Mary. Yeah, there's that. Thank you for that good point. Okay, here we go. This is Coffindaffer's live stream from today. We're going to start with Coffindaffer, and we are going to go into Sweetie Pilo and Donna Serafina. It's a whole shitstorm of misinformation today. So let's go.
To these threats that were made. The online threats contain photographs of guns. We said that. Within 24 hours, that's where I got.
Let me go forward. She's talking about
parsed it out.
Other situations in the beginning of this.
In law enforcement. I mean, he's all chummy. We have them. They are forever memorial.
Okay.
Me to search this. I think they would have waived him.
Come on.
You have a state statute in Georgia between. I thought that was about.
So this entire video is titled "What in the World is Happening on the Sebastian Rogers Case," and she only talks about Sebastian Rogers the last 20 minutes.
Heat seeking. Now one is the.
She's talking about the Kentucky
life and boats and crazy mobiles. But everybody's a huge believer in giving blood because we know.
Oh, come on.
They've specifically asked for that counts of attempted murder. That many of these people, if they get out into the population, we saw it with that Texas last hour or so. I'm sorry, but as it was left, no new developments. Day 7. All right. Last but 100% not least is Sebastian Rogers. Many of you in the chat, many of you in Twitter that are in this true crime community, we have been watching the Sebastian Rogers case from day one. Sebastian Rogers, 15 years old, went missing, Tennessee, went to bed one night with only his mother in the house. She hears a thud somewhere between 10:30, 11-ish at night, and never goes and checks on him, kind of, be quiet in there, get to bed. And
typical teenager, making noise in their bedroom. I mean, this whole weird situation and the posturing thing over a thud and everybody being the parent of the year that would get up and check on these things. Come on now. Be realistic with yourself. If you have teenagers and hear a thud, it's very common to hear thuds in their bedroom. Sorry, it is what it is, but go ahead.
And the next morning at 6, he's not there. For those of you who have never heard of Sebastian Rogers, that in a thumbnail is where that case. Where we're at is the case, to me, is starting to grow cold. It's been over 6 months. We saw this happen, and I'm seeing these little green hearts. I don't know who is doing that, but thank you. Yes, Sebastian Rogers. All of us, our heart goes out to this kid. He's autistic. For those of you who've seen pictures of him, like this great smile. The situation with his family, his parents are divorced. They don't get along. It's just been a hot mess of drama from the beginning.
From the very beginning, from week one. From week one, when people found out that there was a divorce involved in this situation, they made it into a complete shit show. And that's the truth of it.
Anybody who gets involved in this case is dragged through the mud. like the father's drugged through the mud, of course. The Proudfoots are drugged through the mud. Anybody trying to help. Chloe was this investigator out there. She was drugged through the mud. The Cajun army was drugged through the mud, whether they were legitimate or not legitimate. The Uvalde, which I know is legitimate, went out there.
The Uvalde Foundation that she knows is legitimate. Legitimate how? Yes, they have a legitimate 501c3, but as far as anything else they claimed, you can go back and see. We detailed those videos. The head of the Uvalde Foundation was on a hunger strike at the same time he was claiming to be on the ground in Tennessee trying to help the Sebastian Rogers case. Two things cannot be at the same time, and it is what it is. I've reviewed this before. He has done this before. This is so frustrating, out of control. I've got a lot to say today, by the way, because my inbox, my text messages have been blowing the fuck up about TikTokers. Oh, y'all, I don't mess with that shit. I don't want that shit over here. Those TikTokers are nothing but drama. They have done nothing but interjected themselves in a case that all of them have caused nothing but problems. They don't care about what's actually going on. They are a huge source of misinformation. They like to point fingers here, there, everywhere. I want nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with any of it. It's become such an evolving shit show of who's who of the messiest of messes. And I'm so unimpressed. Nobody cares. I mean, respect is earned. But it has become such a complete shit show. And every single character that's doing the most is out in full effect. These TikTok quit. Anne, are you in here yet? I don't know if you're in here yet. Sorry, I haven't put down yet. I can go back to my text messages between Am and I, probably Revival and I. When these women were trying to get attention over here, they came and sat. They all were on a live stream, restreaming T-Rev 757. Saying how much they respected and admired T-Rev, and he was just this amazing person. And then they were telling their audience that they were waiting on Chris Proudfoot to jump on the live stream with them. They were looking for a clout and attention from jump. Anybody given that shit, it's a recycled garbage. They all do the shitty shit. I'm sorry, these are grown-ass adults who signed up to do these things on behalf of what? Because they wanted attention? TikTokers that's a whole new world. There is very few that I respect. Very, very few that I respect. And so far, I haven't seen one interject themselves in this case that I respect. That's it. But I heard they are in full effect. The rumor mill is starting. I've been trying to debunk some of the rumors that have been started, such as the pants situation, all of these things. I'm not interested because it is absolutely going nowhere fast. And they've been looking to get an in on YouTube all along, and now they're just being given that in. Oh, LFT roll tide. It's exhausting at this point. If anybody knows, well, you're going to see what I spent my morning listening to. This is unbelievable. Just Samantha, the damage being done to all of them, Seth included. I don't give a shit if you don't like him. If we disagree with what he has done, we can have all of the feelings. You can have all the feelings. You can think he is suspect as hell. You can do all these things. But at the end of the day, they are all still the parents of a missing child, including Seth. I can have empathy, and I can also side-eye the fuck out of you and dislike you at the same time. That can coexist. There's a world out here that we don't have to fawn over parents of missing children. We don't have to be fan clubs of any of them. I'm a fan club of wanting this child brought home. That's it. I'm not a team. I'm not a nothing. I want this child and everybody else that is missing to be found and brought home. Every human life deserves to be brought home. I think Seth has been a part of a lot of the drama. I also side-eye some of the other stuff that is going on too. There's a lot. And the whole side thing and the back and forth shit has gotten us nowhere. But you'll see that in this again. These people are pushing Seth's narrative. It is what it is. We have to talk about it. We can't ignore that it's a big factor in this. Unfortunately, as many people would like us to just blindly support, I'm sorry, that's not possible. Because if we want to talk about the fact of how we got here, we have to talk about it openly and we have to address things head on. all things can be true. Somebody can be going through the worst time of their life and also take the opportunity to exploit their own loved ones. We've seen it time and time again. It happened in Marwan McRae's situation. And that is horrifying, but it's the reality. People get desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. And it's really sad. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you very openly, clip this for the haters. Clip this for the ones sitting on the benches that can't do the same thing that we do and just talk about it. Abuse, re-victimizing your victim by using media and social media to do that at the worst time of your life is still abuse. I don't care if you are weaponizing a traumatic situation where you're also a victim, you are re-victimizing a victim. And intentionally re-victimizing your victim over and over again, who, by in my opinion, sorry, Dexter had to let you guys know he was here. And he's telling me that if I don't get his treats soon, he's going to have a fit. Anyway, re-victimizing your victim in any way, shape, or form is still abuse. Abuse is abuse is abuse. Mental abuse, physical abuse, it's all abuse. And that's what we're watching. And I have a real hard time with it. And it is what it is. And to watch other women willingly do this to this family and to Katie especially hurts my heart. It absolutely hurts to watch people take every opportunity, especially other women, while they claim that they stand against DV, they claim that they stand against sexual assault, they claim that they are victims of it themselves, and then they take every opportunity to re-victimize Katie. It bothers me. It really does. I don't know if Katie's guilty of a single thing, but I know she's an abuse victim, and they're doing everything to re-victimize her. Okay, carrying on. Thank you, sis.
There. And they were dragged through the mud. Now, which I wanted to bring them on, Nick the Hat, who I knew from the Cavalcante case, and
riddle me this. Why would an ex-FBI agent be aligned with felons, people who are on felony parole? Again, you can have a record, but doesn't it say something a little odd to you that an ex-FBI agent's sources are people on felony parole?
Another fugitive case who does a good job. He goes on scene and you can hear, he puts out the police radar. I would listen to that at night. He and T-Rev, another account. They're very good fugitive chasers. I mean, at least I think they spend the money on.
She just said T-Rev 757 is a good fugitive chaser. T-Rev 757, the same mofo that brought on fake calls in the Madeline Soto case and many other cases. She just shouted out T-Rev 757 as a fugitive hunter and good at what he does. Ma'am, exactly what does he do besides set up fake phone calls?
On getting, scanners so that we can hear the police radar. I mean, we all knew in our community and on Twitter, when Cavalcante was caught, before he was caught, hours before mainstream media broke, we knew. So it's great because these people spend their time, spend their money.
They spend their subs money, ma'am.
Spend their passion on doing these sorts of cases, right? They are what I call true, YouTubers. I'm not really a YouTuber. I guess I am. I have a YouTube.
Those are true YouTubers, the one that stage calls to re-victimize and pretend that they're somebody related to a horrific case of abuse. Okay. Yep. They're true YouTubers.
YouTube account. I have a podcast account. This is not my life. I'm employed by
this is going to be really hard to get through all of this because the Sweetie Pilo and Donna Serafina part gets even worse.
Other company. I have, my media employment. I run training for self-defense and firearms, long and short guns. This I do for advocacy. This I do for education, hopefully.
She claims this is advocacy. This is her words, not mine. Meanwhile, touting the worst of the worst, the most exploitive pieces of shit on this app. She claims this is advocacy while praising those guys.
This I do because my counterparts who train me, and I've shared this before, they're dying. Like they're dying on the vine. And that's when I first started interviewing them, people who have mentored and trained me, because they have so much to give to the true crime community. It's so insane that I watch who is running true crime podcasts and things, and most of them, or at least a huge majority, are criminals. Every time I look around, I'm surprised. I do not do criminal backgrounds on YouTubers. I don't do criminal backgrounds on people.
You don't have to do any of that to know what these people are about. You don't have to do any of that. It's publicly available. You don't even have to do anything semi-nefarious. All you have to do is put a name in Google, or just go check out the millions of videos that are posted about these people and who they're aligned with and what they do.
People that I engage with in Twitter, I would spend my whole life doing that with all the engagement that I have.
Absolutely. Yep. Sparkle, I would still feel the same way. Nothing about her has ever changed my opinion.
Don't do that. What I care about, though, I care about Sebastian Rogers. I care about the fact that Dog and Nick put up $50,000 to try to help encourage someone to come forward with information about that. I care about that.
So she cares about the money that was promised by Dog and Nick. Okay, so the FBI reward wasn't enough, but she cares about what Dog and Nick are doing. Okay. Meanwhile, I guarantee she probably is selectively not watching what Nick and his buddies are actually saying and doing to this family. Okay.
I care that they have shined a renewed focus on Sebastian for a case that was languishing like Summer Wells.
Ma'am, no. All they did was create more ruckus and misinformation, but go on.
It's like I'm reliving Summer Wells again. If you look back 6 months after Summer Wells.
Brantley, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the cabana.
Wells went missing to this point in time right now with Sebastian Rogers, the same exact feel. You got all sorts of crazy statements that are inconsistent that were made by the mother in this case.
This is Jennifer Coffindaffer, Chico. That's who this is. She is an ex-FBI agent.
You have a child that most likely did not just walk away and no one has seen them. Now, could they have walked away and somehow got picked up, or somebody coordinated them being taken? Or, in other words, parents don't always know. I know supposedly he didn't have Wi-Fi. I know supposedly he didn't have any way to connect, but did he connect at school? Was he using somebody else's phone? And he said, listen, I'm going to come out at 4:00 in the morning, Sunday night, and Monday morning before school. And let's get together. We don't know.
That's right. We don't know. That's the only thing I agree with her on.
Really don't know. But I can tell you this is criminal at this point. People who.
And another one who is going against what we directly know from law enforcement. Yes, you can have your feelings on the FBI offering a reward, but until law enforcement says this is a criminal investigation, we know it's an open investigation. The last time they pushed the criminal investigation, it was corrected because that came from news media. People grabbed onto it. It was repeated. It's an open investigation. At this point in time, nothing is off the table. Foul play is still an option, but there's no signs of foul play. The parents have been cooperative. They've been vetted, and that's where it lands. That's it.
Who don't understand this is criminal. I believe it to be criminal at this point.
Well, good.
I don't believe Sebastian Rogers, like Connor Jack Oswald, which I'd like to compare those different.
She is connected to Seth and Tony and Nick the Hat and all of that group. She is directly connected and has been. They were supposed to go on live stream with her today.
Those cases, but their years were a couple years apart. There's a big difference between 15 and 17. There is in every way. I've had 3 of them. It's very, very different. And no, do I think he's just out there making it on his own and hanging out with homeless people? I don't think that. Someone caused his disappearance, and that person will hopefully someday be held, or people responsible.
And we don't know if somebody did cause his disappearance. There's still the possibility that he walked out that door, either harmed himself or was harmed in the elements trying to go somewhere. We don't know. There is many possibilities beyond that somebody and something nefarious happened. Unfortunately, as much as people want to get stuck in the weeds, all possibilities are on the table. And those are two possibilities that people want to glance right over.
Is that the Proudfoots? We don't know. They're not cleared. Seth isn't cleared either, although, and I'm probably not going to do it this live, but I have some very new, interesting information that all of you are going to want to hear about. I just have to, it's in document form. I need to get it out there, and I need to show it on the screen. But that'll probably be my live on Monday.
Dangling information like she knows something that's relevant. She doesn't. Nobody does. Law enforcement is keeping everything really close to the vest on this. Even an ex-FBI agent is not going to, with a social media persona like she has and how she interjects herself, they are not going to give her any type of information.
Do it on Monday.
But this is a way of keeping people engaged. It's another tactic of content farming. Come on, people. We all know what's going on here.
Live from New York City. I'm going to be in New York City for a special shoot on a case. But I just want to point out, this is a criminal, in my opinion, from what I see. When I see the FBI come out with $50,000, I think I did this before. I'm going to
up to $50,000.
Go through it really quick. I'm the FBI agent, say, and I have opened a police cooperation case that we talked about before. Now I have my police cooperation case, so I can actually do things and justify it. I'm going to have a file review on it. My supervisor is going to keep track of everything I've done and I plan to do and that I'm doing. So it's a legitimate case, police cooperation case. Now I'm going into my, because I'm working closely with the sheriff's office and everybody, and I'm now going to go to my supervisor and I'm going to say, I want 50 grand to try to, or to offer as a reward. He's going to say, oh, yeah, right. I want to see why you think 50 grand is going to do anything. You need to justify this. I am next going to sit down. I'm going to write a novel. What would be some of the reasons that I could use to justify a $50,000 reward by the FBI? What? Well, some of the reasons are that they truly believe he was either abducted, taken by somebody, coordinated, or that he was murdered, and that multiple people know about what happened, and they are hoping the low-hanging fruit, somebody that knows or might have information, will come forward, and they are dangling that $50,000 carrot. I'm going to write all that up. I think, now, I don't know because I'm not on that case, but that's the kind of information that my supervisor is going to want. I can't just, can you imagine if every missing person case we, could just get 50 grand for? It'd be nice, but we can't. It's got to be a case where we think it could legitimately result in actionable evidence, facts coming forward, people coming forward. So they've proven that, because not only is it going to my supervisor, now it's going to my ASAC, now it's going to my SAC, and then my SAC is going to the program manager at headquarters. And I know because I was a program manager, supervisor at headquarters in the weapons of mass destruction.
She just told you she didn't work missing persons.
So when you have these huge dollar amounts that you need approval for whatever it's for, you got to get up the chain, clear to headquarters approval. So that's why that happened. I want to read to you.
But Seth said it was because he was working with FBI hand in hand. That's according to Betty.
A text I got today.
Okay, so this is interesting right here. Of course, it's an unnamed source.
Ready for this?
Yep, ready. Fire in the hole, show the proof.
1 minute, I'm looking. It's important. Okay.
Ex-FBI agent with anonymous sources and doesn't show proof. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
But I'm supposed to respect this person. Okay.
You ready? I have received death threats, rape threats, and honestly, we think, oh, I better not say this part. I'm going to skip this part.
Oh, imagine that. We're going to skip a section of the text, but we're just supposed to run with this and believe this. Well, people will.
But we think so-and-so is trying to scare us away.
And somebody's naming names again, so she's dangling it out here.
This situation is insane. Oh, this is I better go on.
The dramatics.
Basically, this person is saying it's the worst situation they have stepped into, that they've never seen this amount of hate and of distractions on a missing persons case.
Yeah, some of us have been saying that from jump, that there's been distractions all along, and all of the characters have inserted themselves. And then all of the characters seem to get these unknown threats, but they can't prove the threats. They can't show the threats. They're pretty much non existent threats, but we keep getting told about them, but there's no proof to back up these things. And if people are being threatened, why aren't they making reports to FBI, LE, Sumner County, TBI? Why isn't that happening? Oh, it's being made into content instead of actually concern, right? Okay.
It's a huge, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm reading the exact text I got from the Cajun Navy guy and from Uvalde and from others who have worked this case. What
Again, Uvalde was making posts, cryptic posts. We've already detailed all of that.
is going on? Why is this little boy? Why are people making death threats, rape threats? Who threatens rape? What is happening?
Well, we don't even know if that was true because anybody could have texted you that, and there's no verified proof behind it. You're not showing anything. You're not sourcing it. And I'm sorry, you're going to need more than that.
What is happening? That whether you be a YouTuber or you're a private investigator, what is happening that no one is welcome to look for Sebastian Rogers?
Meanwhile, there's been so many people that have been out there looking for Sebastian Rogers, such as EquiSearch. Do you think EquiSearch was ran off? Nope. They went in there, they did what they needed to do and left. They worked hand in hand with law enforcement. They didn't receive threats. They didn't receive any pushback. The only one that seemed to have a problem with them was Seth was upset about something with Dave Rader. That was it.
What is going on there?
All of the self-serving, motivated people, all the opportunists have used Sebastian's case to come out of the woodwork, such as yourself.
Anyway, I think as a community, and I'm just going to ask this of each of you, no matter what you have, and I had the greatest intern. She's so great. I had one from IU and then one from Michigan, University of Michigan, and I'm going to be advertising soon for another intern, but
Sparkle, you can become her intern, not only her cheerleader with pom-poms. You can become an intern. There you go.
Ran, my TikTok and my Instagram. I don't have anything to do with those. Obviously, I'm very involved in the Twitter community. Whatever platform you have, whether you are a TikToker, whether you're an Instagrammer, whether you're a Facebooker, please today just put Sebastian Rogers' picture. Or maybe I have this great one that has his picture that my editor did that's amazing. And when he went missing, where he went missing from, how old he is, just the particulars, but it's not sloppy. It's beautiful graphic. I'll post it on Twitter right after this. Post on him. Let's get his face and his name out there. Let's do what we can as a community to try to help find this young man. And what happened? He didn't disappear. He didn't evaporate.
He didn't disappear? Then where is he? If he didn't disappear, where is he? Because, ma'am, he's gone. He's missing. He did disappear.
Aliens didn't come get him.
No shit, Sherlock.
No way. Something happened to that little boy. Something happened to him. The Bureau thinks it's criminal. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. And we need to help find that little boy because it seems like everybody else is getting roadblocks. So let's see what we can do as a community.
Oh, you mean speed bumps that come directly from your buddy Nick, who's muzzled? He's so muzzled, but he's out here texting you things that he supposedly got. I'm sure there's a lot of proof of this, right?
Use every platform we can to flood his picture to let everyone know there's a $100,000 reward.
No, technically there's up to a $50,000 reward by the FBI. That's the only thing that can be vetted.
And no matter what you think of Dog, no matter what you think of Nick.
Dog is 71 years old and should be enjoying retirement. Nick is just another sideshow freak that inserted himself in a circus.
No matter what you think of the other people that have been involved with this case and bringing exposure, please use your platforms to get Sebastian's case out there and understand that at least Nick and Dog combine their resources to offer $50,000. So now there's a $100,000 reward out there.
That can't be.
Let's make it about Sebastian again, please.
Oh, okay. Meanwhile, she releases salacious, anonymous sources of threats. Again, yeah, sure. You're making it all about Sebastian. You are such a fucking dramatic.
Please, let's make it about Sebastian. People know what happened to him. Somebody is responsible for him not being seen anymore. And it's going to take a whole community.
Those are pretty hefty allegations when we really, truly don't know what happened to Sebastian.
A whole nation, certainly the state of Tennessee, to try to help find him. Please help him not become another Summer Wells. I think it's very...
Or the thousands of other missing children. You notice she doesn't talk about any of those.
Very positive that the FBI put out this $50,000 because it tells me they think that the people responsible for why he is missing, that there's hope. You didn't see them do it in Summer Wells. Didn't see him do it in Michael Vaughn. Saw it here.
She is definitely a TV FBI agent.
Not on Harmony Montgomery. We're seeing it here. I think there's leads. Please get his face and his name out there. Sebastian needs us. All right, everyone. I've spoken way too long. I like to keep my...
Sebastian deserves his dignity and the facts to be told, and his parents to be treated with dignity until there's anything otherwise. There's proof.
Lives at 30 minutes, 30 to 45. I'm so sorry to take so long. I wanted to...
Okay, we're done with this one. I'm done. I'm over it. Totally over it at this point. Okay. Now we are going on. Now this one, my friends, is going to be rough. This is going to be rough. So that's the ex-FBI agent, Jennifer Coffindaffer, who is, again, pushing the same narratives with no proof behind anything she says. It is what it is. She's been doing this all along. She has direct connections with Tony. That's Tony's FBI connection, even though she is retired ex-FBI. I don't know. Don't care. There's nothing credible that comes out over there. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You can feel differently, but I've watched what I've watched. Oh my gosh, you guys. Bree says, I've been cussing assholes all day, including this one. I see no reason. Bree, I'm so happy. Thank you for cussing the assholes along with me. LFT, thank you for being here for 4 months with me. Brantley, thank you for becoming a new member. Did she turn that text into the FBI, the TBI, the investigator? You would think, Miss Blue, right? And thank you for the support. You would think that would have been her first priority, right? Brianna says she heard Nancy's thinking of retiring soon. I bet this is a Court TV live interactive job interview. It kind of seems that way, right? Yeah, you guys are spot on. Thank you guys for all the support. We are going to need to take a big woo-saw as a group right now, okay? Everybody, I need you to breathe in and breathe out, because what you're about to hear, if you've been following this case whatsoever, who remembers the last time we reviewed Donna Serafina? Who was here for the last review of Donna Serafina? Thank you, Cold Case Crystal. Love you too. I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a stressful couple of weeks for you with that stuff going on. You guys, please keep Cold Case Crystal and everybody else in Kentucky in your thoughts. That has been a stressful situation going on. Anybody in here remember that? Let's take a look here. So the last time Miss Donna Serafina, we reviewed Donna Serafina, she had done a reading. Her reading, let me find it. Let me find it here. We have, let me grab it. Hi, Kiki. She was the one who did the side of the house. If you remember that, she claimed that they were on the side of the house. There was an A-frame potentially facing a certain way. All of that. We reviewed all of that before. Well, just wait. It's going to be rough. So Sweetie Pilo, I'm going to take you back in time. In April, came out with horrific allegations on Chris Proudfoot. And the reason I'm reminding people is because I want you to remember what they've done. She was the one who came out with an anonymous source that sent her a message. Well, we found out later that the anonymous source was through Donna Serafina and Seth was the source of these allegations. That Chris had done horrific things to family members of his. There is no proof whatsoever that is not accurate. That has been debunked. None of that was true. She kind of quieted down after a lot of her false allegations that she was pushing off in April. She's kind of been silent. Well, she came back the other day on the 11th, did a live stream, took it down, and today she came back in full effect. In my opinion only here, they are bringing back the ones who are still team Seth, pushing the same narrative to do some damage control because things are getting out of hand. That is my opinion, because there's no reason why these people are firing up again after all this crap. Donna's last reading was, I think, June 9th. I think we reviewed it like the 10th or 11th. Her reading on this case, and it was completely ridiculous. So let's get into this. Take some deep breaths because this is some vile shit. And it is long, and we will be skipping through a section in the middle and trying to get through all of it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Reverend Donna Serafina is in this live stream with me today, as you can see.
And I am speeding it up to 1.5 because there's a lot to get through. If I need to slow it down to 1.25, I will, but we're going to try to get through this whole thing because it's gross from start to finish. For those of you that don't know, Reverend Donna Serafina is a proclaimed psychic, self-proclaimed psychic. BBC did an article outing her, and she's had a fit that gets mentioned in this too. I actually found her writing about the BBC.
If you know who Donna is, then obviously this is a great surprise. But for those who don't know her, I would like to say that she is one of the most, well, not only really good friends to me personally, but she is a wonderful help in the true crime community. I've been following her work now since 2020.
Sparkle, actually, law enforcement came out and did speak about supposed threats and stuff, and they said months ago that they had not gotten any reports of threats or searchers being threatened. That was months ago. So I'm hoping that if people are being threatened now, because when they were saying that before, they weren't reporting it. So if this is happening now, I'm hoping that they are reporting it. But yeah, law enforcement did come out and confirm that nobody had reported anything. One report was made to Nashville PD by the United Cajun Navy.
And she is probably the only reason I believe in the spirit world being real and helping, in her ability being able to help in the true crime space, because she is able to see such vivid detail in these cases. For example, if we were to go back to Dylan Round's case, if you guys followed that, she was able to effectively say, was it even a month in, Donna, exactly? Or was it like a weekend? I can't remember.
In Dylan Round's case, I totally described who the person was, what the fight was about.
The fence.
And really, I kept saying, follow the fence, go along the fence. And you know, he was found not very far from the fence line.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
so,
I can't even believe it. It's mind-blowing to me, honestly.
Yeah.
And I understand we kind of have a new generation here of true crime people that follow on YouTube. So they might not know what you do, Donna. And that's why I wanted to introduce you in the way that, like, you have credibility, so much credibility with me and so much credibility with a lot of people in the audience. But for some people, they don't know you yet because let's say
So her other big claim to fame that she totes around a lot is that she predicted the Daybell situation, that she called that. Well, if you actually go look at everything, she was not close as she claims she was. But again, she claims she's got all these abilities. Meanwhile, law enforcement, she doesn't work hand in hand with any of them.
Follow other parts of true crime, but maybe not this space that much yet.
Right.
But are interested in Sebastian's case. So what I will tell you is Donna, before kids were found, this is in Idaho, the case was the Lori Vallow case, 4 months before these kids were found in their new stepdad's yard, she was able to say exactly like every single detail of what had happened to them. I would say, honestly, Donna, the only detail that I didn't hear from you first was about that green bucket. Everything else you nailed, which was mind-blowing.
Right.
That was the only thing I didn't know.
Yeah, we'd have to go back through the reasons because I said they put some of her parts in a bucket or in a tub, in a plastic tub. But then they said it was a green bucket specifically. So yeah.
See, they will use whatever they say to fit. They're very broad spectrum readings, just like the one we reviewed. If you want me to drop the link for the previous review of one of her readings on Sebastian's case, I will gladly do it when we go through and talk about how ridiculous it is. They're open-ended. A lot of things can fit. So when there is closure, they will go back in and say, see, I called that. And they will take these little pieces of irrelevant information and try to make it fit.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I want to go back through like every single statement and see which can be confirmed. But I think I would need help to do that because I think I made around 1,000 statements. I mean, it's just so extensive. And when I go into it, at some point, my brain starts getting traumatized and the PTSD or whatever just shuts me down. So sometimes I do want to go through that case specifically because I really, really gave it my heart and soul.
You did. And I would love to do that with you sometime because I'm telling you that case is what pulled me into your work. I just couldn't believe the level of detail that you got right. And I know I'm not alone in that. A lot of people in the comments, they remember. exactly what happened and how you saw these details so many months before anybody knew anything. And then when the kids were actually found by the FBI, all the details you ever said were confirmed. So it's like instant, truth, like instant verification that what you said was not BS. And you said it at a time when nobody would have believed you. So
yeah, they thought I was crazy. A lot of people came back to apologize afterwards. They just thought I was insane. I'm talking about this girl having her leg chopped up. And the thing about the readings that is really the most important too, after all is said and done, is that there's at least 10 or more readings that have timestamps from before the remains were found that are verified afterwards. And
I dropped the link to the previous video I did on Donna for you guys. And I've detailed Sweetie Pilo quite a few times over here too, over the last 5 months.
like you told me you believed once your life was over, it was over, you go back to dirt or whatever.
Yeah,
absolutely. Josh, agree.
I had like a couple thousand letters from people who said, basically I was an atheist. They start out, I was an atheist. And I'm like, oh, I love these letters. I love these letters.
Okay, you guys know I'm going to already get triggered. Come on, anything with emotional manipulation and faith manipulation, I'm going to fly off the handle. So I'm going to try to keep it together. But this is some grimy ass bullshit.
Reached more people from that case alone, proving the afterlife than I ever would have just in 20 years giving messages at church. I mean, thousands of people have witnessed it. The readings have the lowest ones have around 100,000. Some have a couple 100,000, and they prove the afterlife. They literally, because of the date,
they proved the afterlife.
On YouTube, people know the afterlife is real, and they also know. I think it would be good if all murderers knew. Like
if all murderers knew.
East Idaho News, the Mormon-owned newspaper that controlled this, if they had been willing to not only have the true story out that proved the afterlife, but it also shows murderers that the dead can speak.
Yeah,
people
that the dead can speak. Now you can have your beliefs in the afterlife and all of that. Please do. But this is called emotional manipulation and a missing child, and we're putting faith manipulation right in there too. So this is preying on the vulnerable. This is one of the absolute worst types of grifts, in my opinion, because people who are attracted to this are people who have suffered loss, going through grief, confused, wanting to connect to loved ones that they have lost, to pets, anything. They are desperate for an answer and one last connection, one last conversation, one last something. People are desperate and they're vulnerable, and these people prey on that.
Who have been murdered can still come back and relay who did it and what happened to them. And that can help on cases. And I think that would also help less murderers. Some murderers, people tell themselves they can get away with it, but some murderers might think twice if they realized it was true.
Absolutely.
So she thinks if more psychics were involved, that murderers in the afterlife coming forward and talking about it would scare people from murdering other. Wow, this is going to get deep.
I know. I agree. And in this discussion today, what we're going to go over is her reading that she did. This would have been early June, right, Donna? Like June. I think it was June 9th.
The one about Sebastian?
And Sebastian Rogers, yes, because the details that you saw in that one are very interesting, in my opinion.
Okay, so I uploaded that June 9th, and so I either did it, I think that was the same night. I did that for Seth's sister.
Yes.
Seth Rogers, the father of Sebastian. So his sister asked me, let's do a reading. And so if anyone from the family wants to do a reading like Seth's mom, it's free. I'm not charging for that. Right. So that was June 9th. I uploaded that.
Again, preying on the vulnerable.
Okay. Are you ready to get into the details of it?
Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. So how would you like to go? Do you want to go over your transcript, Donna, or do you want me to just...
Sure. Do you think I could just briefly review my notes from...
Yeah, please. That would be great. Yeah.
Okay. So about an hour and a half ago, I thought, okay, I'm going to get ready kind of. And then I thought, I had watched a few YouTube videos and saw there wasn't much new on the case. And I decided to listen to Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife, Nina's interview again.
Me too.
And
all right. So we're starting off with Nina, the ex-wife. Now, you can feel however you want about that situation. We have no verified proof that those stories are true. Again, you can have your own personal beliefs on what you have heard. But let me remind you, there's no police reports that back up a lot of this stuff. Chris is still allowed by the courts to see his child. there would be if some of these situations had happened, as were said, especially in police parking lots. There would have been a paper trail of some of that. There has not been anything. Nina also did not accuse Chris of physically harming her.
I mean, suffice to say, I was just really angry. And I think some things stand out.
And no matter what you say at the end of the day, it was very opportunistic because she took focus off of Sebastian and put it on her. And that to me was absolutely one of the biggest derails in the beginning of this case.
Because not only am I a psychic medium, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I've worked in an institution and as a social worker at juvenile parole. And as well, I
That's actually really scary that she worked for juvenile parole.
volunteered for 8 years at Families and Friends of Violent Crime Victims, helping families of murder victims. And so I do know also a lot about criminal justice, and criminal psychology in particular was important to me.
So in other words, she's honed at the art of this.
And so there's some factors that I was just, picking up about Nina and what she was saying. And to look at, is this family capable of actually murdering Sebastian? And I'm not accusing them of that. I'm just saying, are they capable? Okay.
Are they capable? She's not accusing of them of that, but just wait until she gets there. Are they capable?
Violent, they're vindictive, they're manipulative, and there was something coming up they wanted to hide. So
they're violent, vindictive, and manipulative. Setting the stage.
This is all from other people, not from me. And when you listen to,
these are all based off of rumors that we don't even know hold fact.
Are they manipulative? They even though the marriage wasn't going to be working, Seth and Chris Proudfoot's mother, what's her name?
Hold on, it's going to come to me. What is her mom's name? Or his mom's name?
Kathy Bowers.
Robin.
She comes out with her brother. So everything they do shows their whole family works in conjunction on these big.
They don't even know who's who. Kathy Bowers Hawks is Chris's mom. Robin Rogers is Seth's mom.
Plots.
Wait, I said that wrong. Let me. I want to fix what I said. I thought you were asking who Seth's mother is. No, Chris Proudfoot's mother is Kathy. Is that what you're asking?
Kathy Bowers Hawks and her brother Bryant Guy, the father of what's the kid's name? What's Bryant Guy's son's name?
Who's son?
Danny Guy. Danny. Well, that's interesting.
Anybody remember the poker party that I mentioned before?
To note. Okay, so anyways, so Kathy Bowers Hawks comes out to California with her brother, and they lure Nina back to Tennessee, where they promptly take her baby from her.
They lured her now. Quite extensive language.
Attempt to steal her. Are they a violent family? Well, I don't know. She went over to the family and said, please don't take my baby. And she says that Terry Bowers Hawks, this guy with a fucked up tooth,
so she's very good at working with families and crime victims. She's concerned about Terry's teeth. Another one that's concerned about the teeth of Chris's stepdad.
Said he believed, pulled out a baseball bat in front of her 3-year-old and 7-year-old and was.
And again, could some of this be true? Absolutely. But this has nothing to do with Nina. There's a reason why they are divorced. Exes say all sorts of things about exes. Most of you understand that because most of you have exes and have been in these shoes. Shit gets crazy, especially with bad custody cases. It's been an ongoing custody case for like 6-7 years. There's a lot of emotions that are involved in this. This has nothing to do with the current situation of Sebastian being missing, but this is what they're going to hone in on.
It's going to smash their heads in if they didn't get off his property. So he is extremely violent.
And we don't know that that's true.
Is he violent? His coworker, Terry Bowers Hawks' coworker, says he believes Terry Bowers Hawks is part of this and totally of the personality that would do something like this.
An unvetted coworker who called into, I think, Jay for Justice's channel, if I'm correct. An unvetted coworker of the stepfather of Chris Proudfoot. Okay.
Yep.
Does the family? Is the whole family violent? When a judge, after months of putting Nina through hell, told the family they have to give back Nina's baby, when she went for the exchange, the sister of Chris Proudfoot told Nina to run over Nina with his truck during the baby exchange.
In the police department parking lot, which would have been on camera, and she would have been able to sue if that would have happened and they did nothing to protect her. Let's be factual here, people.
And that
So-
sister, let me say, that sister is Melissa, Chris Proudfoot's sister, who said that.
And by the way, something I didn't put up on the internet was when I saw Sebastian taken to a house and he was still alive at that time.
Okay.
By the way, she will be very clear that she thinks he is deceased. She's been saying that for quite some time. So please understand that going into this, it's a heavy trigger warning. This is all very, very disgusting. So if this is triggering for you, I understand, like, this is going to be hard for people to listen to. This is disgusting. This is one of the worst live streams I've seen thus far. And we've watched some crazy shit happen over here. But this kind of takes the cake. And this woman is self-proclaimed for the victims. No, ma'am, you're re-victimizing victims. And she's going to take every opportunity to do that. So deep breaths, please.
There was a female there. I didn't know if it was the sister or the mother, but there was a female. And then she left. And then there was a couple men there.
So she's implying here that Chris's sister could have been involved in ridding of Sebastian in her readings of what she's seen before.
So, yeah, their whole family, not according to me making accusations, but by the testimony of Seth Rogers, right, of saying that Sebastian was afraid of Chris Proudfoot, of the factual, verifiable information that CPS.
Crystal, that's the whole premise, right? In order to get readings. But we've had so many of them using this whole spirit box situation and saying that other spirits are talking for him and so on. Like, they've twisted and turned everything. I'm up to 66. There's 2 new psychics on the scene. I got to add them to my list, but we're up to 66. I've got a whole other list going of psychics, tarot card readers, and whatever they're calling themselves these days that have done 1 to 10 videos each on Sebastian Rogers' case over the last few months. 66 different channels, 1 to 10 videos each, because some of them are way up there now, flipping their readings, saying all the most. Yeah, it's extensive.
Wanted to interview Sebastian related to the custody suit of the baby that this horrible, horrible person, Kathy Bowersox, what a fraud. How dare she walk into a church? How dare she use a church?
How dare she walk into a church? How dare these people go to a church? Meanwhile, she's sitting here dropping all the cuss words. Wow.
Still a baby business. Right.
Right.
He's still a baby. And hey, the baby was still breastfeeding at this point. She rips the baby from its milk source. It's mommy. You don't get
Pure
lower.
evil. Pure evil. This entire family is pure evil. And they're pure evil. And how does murder look on the face? Did you see Chris Proudfoot in court the other day when they're trying to terrorize after Terry Bowersox jumps out of his car a bunch of times and harasses Bullhorn Betty for trying to put up signs and look for the kid? Then they file a restraining order against her. I mean, come on. And
I want to rewind that one more time, and I'm going to put it in regular speed so you guys can hear that again, because they are claiming Bullhorn Betty is the victim.
See Chris Proudfoot in court the other day when they're trying to terrorize after Terry Bowersox jumps out of his car a bunch of times and harasses Bullhorn Betty for.
Where did that happen? Where did Terry Bowersox? Can anybody tell me where Terry Bowersox hopped out of his car and harassed Bullhorn Betty? Can anybody tell me? Because the only person I saw jump out of a car was Bullhorn Betty.
Or trying to put up signs and look for the kid. Then they file a restraining order against her. I mean, come on. And Chris Proudfoot, his face looks like crap.
Yeah.
And once again, disparaging the parent of a missing child because he looks stressed.
Okay.
Something's eating him.
Eating the guilt out of himself? Yeah. I mean, he's being eaten alive. With that
He's being eaten alive.
fun, Chris, was it worth it? Because the world knows what you did.
Was it fun, Chris? Was it worth it? Because the world knows what you did. Meanwhile, what we know from law enforcement is that his story has been vetted. And his story is that he was in Memphis working out of town and had not been home since beginning of February. That's what we know. And that they've been cooperating with law enforcement. None of them have been charged with a crime. They are not suspects in the disappearance. And she is saying it all.
Something hinky's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Something hanky's going on? You mean beyond you two?
Oh, and then she says Nina says when she ran into the police station, it seemed that all the police knew the family, and they.
Of course it did. Of course. So this paints again the picture that somehow they have corrupted the entire police department and that the police are covering for them. So the police, we've heard different twists and turns of the story about how they wouldn't let her in and the door was locked. And then finally somebody came to her and they just ignored her, you know, screaming and crying. We've heard all of that too, to push this narrative that they somehow have law enforcement in their pockets. This is extremely infuriating and it's going to get worse as it goes. I'm sorry to say that, but it gets way worse.
They weren't helping her. And then they said, go in this room, and they flipped the lights off to traumatize her. And then when she got outside,
the police department puts her in a room and they shut the lights off to traumatize Nina. Law enforcement officers, again, a police station has cameras. Those rooms have cameras. So they go in there, they flip the lights off to traumatize her. Why didn't she sue the police department?
the whole family, she said, multiple cars of their family were following her and her father, and they were going 80 to 90 miles an hour up the freeway trying to get away from these people. So the sister, Chris Proudfoot, I don't know who else, Bower Sox, or whoever these people are, the guys, whoever.
Sorry if you're hearing sirens, it's my background. I'm outside and they're down the road.
We're chasing them with the baby in the car. I mean, that shows they don't even care about the baby anyway.
Right.
They care about being vindictive. You know what? They said, she said, Nina said they threw the baby at her. They threw it at her. She caught the baby. And then they chased her at 80 or 90 miles an hour. And Chris Proudfoot's sister says, why didn't.
Meanwhile, they were in the police department parking lot when this handover occurred. Again, video cameras, CCTV was present. If this all happened, why didn't she file charges? Why didn't she go above that law enforcement? Like, come on now, people.
Didn't you just put it in reverse and roll over her?
I know.
Literally evil. And they all work together on these manipulated, these deep plots.
These manipulative, deep plots.
And there we have, is Sebastian alive? Not even from a psychic perspective, right? Because I didn't go that far, just because I've seen Seth publicly say it traumatizes him when psychics say things. So I just went as far as the house he was brought to. But just from a criminal justice background, the fact that this entire family is violent as can be, that they hold a double life, and that they work.
This is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. This is extremely dangerous.
Together, and that they're extremely vindictive, and that they've already done really evil things to try to steal a baby from somebody. Doesn't bode well for Sebastian.
Meanwhile, he's still allowed to have visitation with his child. But okay.
No, it doesn't. I know.
You know?
I know, Donna. And I've wondered, is it possible that maybe they knew, so that they, being the Bower Sox, maybe knew the contention in the household, that Chris was having a hard time with Sebastian there? Because let's not forget, Seth made it very clear that Chris had come to him and said, like, this is not working out with Katie. There clearly was that ultimatum, right?
That's not what was said. Actually, not at all. That's not what the ultimatum was. Not at all. And people continue to run with that because one side has said that, when in reality, there's a whole other side of this that people have not talked about. And there's a reason for it. And that's where it's going to stand. But no, you want to believe that, but trust and believe that that's not what was happening. They were trying to figure out ways to best take care of all of the situations going on at once. That's what was happening, to benefit everybody at once. And that's pretty clear from what they've talked about, that they were trying to figure out the best situation for all. There was never an ultimatum. The rumors about the fucking affairs, this ultimatum that if he didn't send, none of that has held any water. There's no proof of any of that.
So is it possible that maybe the Bower Sox knew the contention between the the dynamics, right? With Chris and Katie, and then you got Sebastian and Chris probably.
Katie B, absolutely correct. To protect all parties involved and do the best for all situations.
Didn't like Sebastian too much, I would imagine. And so did they, carry it out without the knowledge? Let's just say without the knowledge of Chris and Katie. I'm just putting that out there. I don't know. That's just what I've thought.
Yeah, and they were trying it out. They were giving it a test run for the summer. There was no big old custody dispute like they've been making it out to be either. That wasn't factual. They had agreed to try it out for the summer. We've heard that discussed.
It's one of the things I've thought of before.
Anything possible, but I don't believe that for a second. I believe
Okay.
they all work together.
Okay.
All of them.
And I tend to
them.
understand. Yeah.
Didn't
Me too.
Sebastian go missing on the exact date, anniversary of, it was either when the original divorce between,
Was the date that Katie filed for divorce, you dum-dums. Don't you have some psychic abilities that you should know all this? Like, why would I need to fill in the gaps here for you?
Katie and Seth was
I've
filed.
heard that. Yeah.
I mean, there's only a 1 in 365 chance of odds of this
Yeah.
boy going missing on the anniversary
On
of
the day.
Seth and Katie's, whether it was the divorce or restraining, or I don't remember, but it was an important pivot
Was the date that Katie filed for divorce.
in the relationship between Seth and Katie, and Sebastian just happens to disappear on that day. Like, why aren't the judges?
Many of us think that the date has some sort of significance. You're entitled to believe what you want, but believe and make those opinions based on fact, not on this crazy rumors and this wild shenanigans that they're spewing.
Judges in Tennessee ordering them to produce Sebastian, just like the judges in Idaho ordered Lori to produce her kids.
I think
So she thinks that the judges in Tennessee need to force an order that they need to produce Sebastian.
they've got it sewn up. That's why.
Right. Because they have money and because they're friends with the cops. Because
No, quite the opposite. No, these are pro Team Seth. These are Team Seth all the way. These two have been pushing Seth's narrative, and I'm sorry, I'm going to call it that because Seth was in direct communication with both of these, which we learned over time. There was horrible allegations that Sweetie Pilo was coming out and putting against Chris that came from Seth. There is no foundation in any of that. Those were anonymous sources. They've done the most. Donna Serafina was in direct connection with other people. She's talked about that in the previous readings. I dropped a link above for a video that I reviewed of hers that she goes into more of where she gets her information from. They have had direct connections to Seth's side of things and pushed off horrific rumors since April.
because she's probably sold a bunch of cops real estate. I mean, there's something going on in that town. It sounds like if you listen to.
So now, once again, pushing the corruption, that they're all involved, that they're buying people off, you know, to go along with the narrative that Nick and Hong are posting now too. Like, this is all just amping up once again.
Nina, why did the judge even order Faith to be put back in that house when Sebastian was missing under suspicious circumstances? Yeah, it's really bad. It's really, they said, oh, there's no evidence he was ever forcibly removed or left on his own.
Maybe the judge was able to gather information that proved that Chris was not present at the time of his disappearance and that he was out of state working, such as we've been told, and law enforcement says that their stories have been vetted. Maybe the courts were privy to information that the public is not, so that he could see his daughter. I mean, there's simple situations like that that could be happening.
Just don't have evidence. Well, have they tried? Have they, oh yeah, they did. They said they raided Danny Guy's house and took his computer. Apparently, Danny.
This is the poker party that I've talked to and alluded to that was being rumored around for quite some time. Some of you didn't know about that. This is another Terry Lynn rumor. Danny Guy and Terry Lynn have known each other. He's another local that is a relative of someone. And there was supposedly this poker party. They tried to say that Chris and Katie and Sebastian were all at this poker party. Then the story changed to she could only confirm that Katie and Sebastian were at this poker party. Then the story changed again that it wasn't Friday, it was a Thursday. Then the story changed that his computer was confiscated and returned back to him. Then the story changed again, and there is no foundational proof that any poker party ever existed and that any of them were there. That is the fact. And all of that started with Terry Lynn. Revival, this is from today. This is just from a few hours ago that they did this.
The guy is Kathy Bowersock's nephew, who I had never heard of before my reading. I didn't know their family. I didn't know Mr. Popcorn Tooth, and I didn't know the nephew. Okay,
Yeah.
but
She's such a Christian like woman, you know, Popcorn Tooth, calling Terry Bowersock's Popcorn Tooth because she's so bothered by the way this man looks. I mean, say it ain't so.
from what I heard, see, I work on a lot of cases, so it's just like people are always contacting me for help. And so I'm not able to sit there and dissect every single case. But
And this is why when people come to me and expect me to respect random strangers on the internet, I tell you to get fucked. Because I'm sorry, I'm never going to respect people like this who continue to mess in missing children's cases. I will never have respect for people who are grown-ass adults who have used a missing child to push a narrative, insert themselves with drama, make a name for themselves, build channels for themselves. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. The only reason why I even got involved in this is because the intentional spread of misinformation from Jump was excessive. And it has continued to be one of the worst cases I have ever seen thus far in my time on YouTube. This being done to. It is every single day new clowns inserting themselves, new side shows, and that is completely separate from Sebastian being missing. They are using a missing child to do all of these things and greatly impacting his dignity and his life, his voice. They don't care about that. It's all about picking a side and pushing a narrative on both sides now. Both sides. And there shouldn't be any side. It should be awareness for Sebastian. It should be a missing persons case where we're bringing awareness to a missing child. There's so many missing children that could be brought awareness to, but that's not what we do. That's not what's going on. And that's the reality.
I heard they went and had a warrant and took his Danny guy's computer, and that Chris and Katie were there the night before, and that someone would.
And all of this again came from Terry Lynn. You can go to Terry Lynn's channel and hear about all these poker party stories and the twists and turns. She even called somebody the other night on the phone, and some random person, no-named person in the middle of the night answered the phone, and she's like, "Was there a poker party?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he wouldn't say anything else.
Punished Sebastian because he went on the computer or did whatever they didn't want him to do.
Right.
Oh, and that's another thing. Nina said, Chris Proudfoot when
Wait, is somebody worried about me being upset or angry? Again, somebody in the comment section needs some hugs because they think I should be palatable and, you know, nice and lovely and so respectful to these random fucking people. Get out of here with that shit. If you expect me to be respectful to these dumb twits, you're in the wrong place. Hit that X button. Don't let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you. Have a blessed day, or the day you deserve.
and her daughter was only like 6 or 7. Chris Proudfoot decided he wanted to cut her nails, and she pulled away, and he just backhanded her hard enough that broke her lip. So would this man known to, you know, beat Sebastian with a belt and make him sleep out in the garage and all these things, you think he's going to keep him alive somewhere? They hated him.
They hated him. So Sebastian wasn't loved. He was hated. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep.
That's how it would appear.
Look at how happy she is about saying that too. A child. They hated a child. There's no proof of that.
Yeah, I agree, Donna.
You know, I hope he's alive somewhere. It would be really nice if Katie had a friend somewhere that's willing to take on a 15-year-old autistic boy who would.
Why does it have to be Katie have a friend? Do you not think that their friends and family members have been checked out? This child has been missing for going on 7 months.
Be surely having outbursts. The odds of that on the criminal justice level are very slim.
The odds of that happening are very slim without having some sort of trace, like some sort of communication, some sort of phone calls repeatedly, some sort of meetup where they could track things, some sort of something, money transactions, all of that stuff. There would be a paper trail that they could have found already if that happened, Donna.
But it happens. I mean, it does happen. So,
Yeah.
you know, you can pray until the end. It's just infuriating, and this family is pure evil, in my opinion. Pure evil.
Pure evil and cunning.
Coming from that mother, Kathy Bowersock, what a manipulative, evil woman. I just can't.
Where did anybody in the comments, please tell me, have you seen Kathy being this evil, manipulative woman? I have not even heard enough about Kathy to even have an opinion on Kathy. I have not seen Kathy speak. I have not seen Kathy come out on media. I have not seen any of this stuff. Where are they getting this definition of Kathy? Has anybody heard Kathy speak publicly that they're getting this information from? Nobody in the comment section has heard Kathy speak. Okay. I thought maybe I was the one that just missed that.
She must donate to the church, because if I was leading the church where she walks in to get all her real estate business, which is really why I'm sure she's there, I would throw
Now saying that the only reason why Kathy goes to church is for real estate investment clients.
her out on her ass right in front of everyone. I would say,
But it's okay for people like Tiffany Thompson to go in and take pictures of Katie Proudfoot with a minor child coming out of the nursery or the child's area and give those to people on social media like Bullhorn Betty to keep the family under surveillance. That's okay though. But you're worried about Kathy going to church and maybe having clients that go to the same church. Okay.
you are the bride of Satan, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Once you know what she's done to
She's the bride of Satan. Kathy is the bride of Satan. I'm sorry. I don't have any opinions on Kathy. I don't know nothing about her. Besides, she's the grandmother of a missing child and Chris's mom.
Nina, it's just like, how could you ever look at this woman with any sort of admiration or care? It's what they did to Nina is beyond sick. It's sadistic.
It's infuriating. It's a newborn baby, and they throw the newborn baby at her, and then they chase her down the freeway at 80, 90 miles an hour. They didn't care about that baby.
Right.
And then she said, and far vindictive, she said from then on, Chris Proudfoot was constantly trying to interfere on every little aspect of her trying to take care of her baby. As far as like calling CPS, and then, oh, she shouldn't be wearing leggings. She shouldn't be doing this. She shouldn't be doing that. And constantly harassing her, never stopped harassing her. So he's evil.
Where's the proof of these accusations? I would love to see it, because these are pretty hefty allegations with no proof to back them up. And I'm sorry, if a lot of this happened, there would be proof to back these things up. There would be foundational, factual proof to back up a lot of these claims, like they're saying. If it was to this degree, there would be something.
His mother's evil. His stepfather's pure evil. Sounds like the guy, Brian Guy, would go all the way to California with his sister to do that. So he's in tight with this. They've got this whole family. Oh, and Chris Proudfoot's sister, telling. Do you know if Chris Proudfoot did put it in? Nina said Chris Proudfoot did put it in reverse, but he just didn't hit the gas. And she told her kids, jump back, or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. I forgot.
Yeah, and if he had done that, it could have killed the baby.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
Chris Proudfoot's sister is just as evil as her mother. She's just as vindictive as her mother.
Mhm.
All of them are capable. So the question is, are they capable? This is outside of any psychic readings. I just want to get that through. Are they capable? And the answer is yes.
Right.
They're capable of killing him. They are fully capable. There's zero doubt.
Okay, well, there you go. There's the answer to her question. There you go. And this is allowed.
That's how I feel too, Donna.
And Katie Proudfoot, she grew up being molested by her own mother. She has a flat affect. She's messed up.
Fuck you. From all victims, fuck you. Signed, Becky.
She got into this relationship real fast, and she was willing to do anything to hang on to it, just like a lot of.
She got into this relationship really fast. You mean she was groomed at the age of 12 by a man that was 10 years older than her?
Other mothers we've seen. What about Maddie Soto's
Maddie.
mother? That witch belongs in prison too.
Comparing Katie to Jen Soto.
I agree.
And how they're letting her off for a plea agreement is beyond me.
Well, and from what I understand, they could end up charging her even after this whole thing goes down, is what I understand right now. So it's kind of a limited deal, a limited immunity she has, I guess.
So that's good. And usually on these immunity deals, if they find anything else that you did not disclose, like if they get any evidence that she actually encouraged her daughter.
And this is why I will continue to sit here and call these people out. And if anybody doesn't like it and wants to call me a tragedy pimp, fucking feel free. Lace that bitch up and wear that shit around and tote it around the internet. I'll be right here putting these people on blast and highlighting the bullshit that they do to the victims and their families. Katie is a victim at this point in time. We don't know anything else. She is not guilty of anything at this point. There is no evidence to prove that she is involved in the disappearance of her son. And to re-victimize her and continue to abuse her because you think some rumors on social media give you that right, you can go get fucked. All of you. Call me whatever you want, but I will continue to do exactly what I'm doing today and continue to be proud of what I do, because I'll be damned if these parents and victims and their families continue to take hits and nobody highlights the shit that is happening to them. Come for me. Leave the families alone. You weak spine, stand for nothing bitches.
To get into bed with him, except, which obviously, I mean, he's right in the other room. Yes, that did not go on for 5 years without her knowing. Okay. Yeah. So if they find other stuff, they can bring back all the charges. Almost all the immunity deals say things like that.
I know.
I just don't see. I don't. She's just as bad as him. I mean, she even had more responsibility. She was the mother.
Yeah. She even had more responsibility. She was the mother. I'm telling you, this gets worse.
She was.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I get it, Donna. I completely get it. And I was thinking about it the other day too, because really they kind of disappeared.
And I'm sorry, this little bimbo over here, she is a beautiful on the outside, but that is a fucking evil, evil fucking bitch. Sweetie Pilo. You might want to change your name to Scummy. Scummy Pilo. This is so horrific. And to watch other women do this to a mother of a missing child with no proof whatsoever of anything that they've said, all of the shit that they've spewed so far is allegations and rumors. There is no proof to back up anything that they've used to weaponize against Katie and what they're saying about Katie. This is horrific re-victimization of victims, and it's not acceptable. And to see the smile and the smirks on their faces while they're doing this says it all.
Or I should say, they were last seen on the same day, both Maddie and Sebastian. They both have questionable mothers.
They both have questionable mothers.
That could have known about abuse and turned a blind eye.
That could have known about abuse and turned a blind eye.
That's what this.
They're so desperate. They thought they needed a man.
Right. I need the man.
I need someone to part in my house. I need someone.
They were so desperate and needed a man.
So I have to clean the dishes. I need someone. What do you need? Like, really, women, anyone allowing someone to molest their children, I think they should.
Anyone allowing
should have the death. I think she should have the death penalty right along with him.
Even attempting to compare Jen Soto and Katie Proudfoot is fucked up.
And by the way, let me be clear. I don't at this time believe that Chris could have been doing that like molestation to Sebastian. Again, I don't know that.
No, I'm not suggesting that either. I'm talking about Madeline Soto.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to divert it because these parents
you're blatantly comparing the two and trying to make a point, but when she backtracked, you were like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't do that yet.
Katie Proudfoot that did not protect her child against being abused.
I know.
So are we supposed to
Actually, that's factually incorrect because Katie was the one that reported the abuse in California. Seth even confirmed that. So there's that too.
Now project motherly attributes on her and say, oh, no mother would allow this whole evil family to, they could have said, say goodbye. You won't see him again. But whatever happened, she didn't protect him when Chris was beating him multiple times.
Multiple times. So a one-time pop on the butt with a belt has turned into beating him multiple times.
So
That's
would she not?
Completely disregarding all of the court stuff from California and the CPS involvement that we know about too.
Protect him in the end? Why would she start protecting him all of a sudden when she was so desperate? She was willing to stay with somebody that was harming her son.
Right. And him having to wear diapers, I still think there's
And we're back to this.
a lot to that. Yes,
They're called incontinence briefs.
he's autistic, but having to wear
He has a chromosomal deletion syndrome too. We don't know the full why he was having those issues. We don't know. That's none of our business.
diapers when at Seth's house, he was perfectly functioning.
And we don't know that as a fact either. That's just what he said.
He didn't.
Yeah, because he was scared and traumatized.
Yes.
And when people are scared and traumatized, when traumatic things happen, sometimes they urinate on themselves, even people who aren't autistic. If this man is walking around punching this kid
This man is walking around punching this kid.
and hitting him with a belt,
A one-time pop on the butt with a belt.
well, that explains that part of it, you know?
Yeah. And that makes me wonder what kind of a stepdad was old Terry Bowersocks to influence Chris to
Now implying that Terry Bowersocks potentially beat Chris.
be so violent potentially, right?
That's a good question. Do you know how long they were together? Like,
I'm pretty sure they've been together a really long time, like at least 20 to 30 years. So I'd imagine Chris's mom and stepdad. Yeah.
So Terry Bowersocks helped raise Chris.
Could have potentially, yeah.
Yes, he did. And
During the formative years, yeah. Stepdaddy. Old stepdaddy.
oh, you guys are just fucking grimy.
So they all go to church, or not all of them, but when I read Kathy Bowersocks on her Facebook lists a church that she attends, and I looked it up. It's like one of these the big super mega churches.
Oh yeah.
You know she's there for one reason, which is to get real estate clients.
To get leads.
She goes to church to get leads for real estate, according to these two.
Yeah.
She needs to be kicked out on her butt. She is evil and impersified or personified. She's evil.
We have no indication that Kathy is even remotely evil.
In my opinion. That's my opinion. Remember, it's conjecture. But from
Yeah, fuck you and your opinion, Donna.
listening to Nina and listening to Seth, and this is going off of other people's documented statements, court documents showing what occurred, a judge finally giving Nina her baby back and the judge outright confronting Kathy Bowersocks and saying, you set all this up to steal this baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Evil.
Evil. Yeah. 1,000,000%, Donna. It's really horrible. And to think about the trauma, right? The trauma that Nina must have gone through trying to fight that battle pretty much on her own. Well, with her parents' help, but alone quite a bit too.
Yeah, she's way there in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And that, you know what? There's always lessons in these true crimes. And I'll tell you, the lesson of what occurred with Nina is a good lesson for anybody, a female who has a boyfriend and he's moved here from another state and he says, let's go back. My parents are there, my family there, well, they'll help.
Now this is oh my God. I can't even this is just unbelievable.
With the kids, it's cheaper to live there. Don't. Because that baby then becomes a resident of that state and that family can take that kid away from you. And in Nina's case, it looked like that was the plan.
So meanwhile, Tennessee isn't even the court presiding over this case. So while they're sitting here trying to tote that they're corrupt and they have some sort of influence, the judge that's ruling on the child custody stuff is out of New Mexico. Tell me how that fits into their little manipulation story here. Doesn't.
I 100% believe that was part of the grand scheme of things. To isolate her, she knows nobody there except the family, this cultish, horrible family. And
yes, Revival, let me go back up and see what Michelle said. What did Michelle ask? Oh, Michelle, this is Reverend Donna Serafina and Sweetie Pilo. Sweetie Pilo is a true crime creator. She's got like 50,000, almost 60,000 subs. She is one of the worst of the worst, super vile. And Reverend Donna Serafina is the other one that you are hearing. She's a psychic and a self-proclaimed nut job. Well, I mean, all these other things. I love you too, babe. What you have to say might get me kicked off YouTube. Babe, love you. Drive safe. It's going to get worse, babe.
And then take the bait.
I'm really trying hard. Like I am channeling all of the inner calmness I have, and it's really wearing hard on me. This from a victim of childhood abuse and watching how this manipulation is going and the shame that is being tossed onto Katie when we know she was 12 and he was 10 years older and she was groomed. She came out of one traumatic situation into another. Like just to hear these things said about her. I don't know Katie. I don't need to know Katie. I know abuse victims, and this is so fucked up on every level, especially from two other women.
Maybe. I mean, what better way to do it, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's their.
Trust and believe it gets worse.
So they've proven that they all work together to carry out complicated plots like they did to take the baby. So would they all work together to carry out a complicated plot regarding Sebastian? It's possible. Yes, it's possible because they clearly have proven that. Are they violent? Yes, they're all violent. Chris's sister's violent.
We have no indication that Chris's sister is violent. That's nothing that's ever been proven, nor a factor in this case of Sebastian being missing.
Mother's violent.
We have no indication that Kathy or Terry are violent.
Terry Bowersox is violent.
She lied flat out in the very beginning of this, saying that Terry hopped out of his cars multiple times to harass Betty. That never happened.
And they all work together. I mean, are they capable? Is it possible? It's absolutely possible that the worst has happened here.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I remember speaking to Seth pretty early on.
There you go. Once again, admitting to the connection directly to Seth. You're welcome.
And him actually saying that his suspicion was of the Bowersox family because they have power and affluence.
And now you are hearing directly where some of the source of the misinformation is coming from. She admitted to that.
Mm-hmm. So he automatically was concerned about that because he knew how close-knit not only Katie is with the family, but how Chris could pretty much do no wrong in the family anyway. So would they cover for him or would they help him? Yeah, I think they would. That's my
would. So all the possibilities of, is this even possible?
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the chat much again. Patricia, thank you for the gifted membership. Welcome to the cabana. Cash, grifting, legging, Hulk, Doubtfire, Gobsheet. Thank you, Cash. By the way, your kid said hello earlier. MK, thank you for the gifted memberships. Welcome to the cabana, you guys. Thank you all for being here and sitting through this with me. This is probably one of the worst ones we've reviewed thus far. And I appreciate you all being here.
Well, that they actually did away with him. Yes, it is possible. And do they have all the risk factors? Yes, they have all the risk factors.
100%. Wow. So do you want to start talking about some of the key details that you saw that you felt were really important?
Sure, in the reading, yeah.
Yeah. And this would have been, was this number 2, number 3 that you did, Donna? Readings? Or do you know?
See, I did a really short one. So sometimes there's like multiple cases going on at a time that people are like, I'll do a reading, and a lot of times it's for the family. So if you're out there and you have a loved one who's been murdered and you need answers, you can email me at reverendonnaserafina@gmail.com. Or you can check out my channel, Psychic Reverend Donna Serafina, if you forget the email.
Preying on the vulnerable.
And I'll help you for free. And so what happens is sometimes there'll be like 5 or 10 going, but then there's commonly at least 5 different cases, and people will be sending me texts and pictures and this and that. So sometimes when I meditate, and I'll ask, also, is there any answers on these? I'll have like 5 minutes. Say it would be like 5 minutes of Summer Wells or 5 minutes of Sebastian, and it's not like a full only Sebastian reading. So like when I saw this very dark green pickup truck in the driveway that night, and it had a little tool rack thing, one of those little frames that they hang ladders from.
Yeah,
I think that belonged to the house where Sebastian was taken.
Oh,
I mean, I think the flashlights, to me, I think the flashlights were them walking Sebastian out to the car. Probably Katie, but I can't say who.
I've always thought.
once again implicating Katie.
I think that's what that was. And we're all supposed to pretend we're stupid because the police are telling us we're stupid, right? Oh, you're all stupid. Why do you even care? There's no evidence anything's wrong. And it's like, yeah, there's a 15-year-old autistic boy missing under very suspicious circumstances at a time when CPS wanted to interview him about the abuse going on in the home to see if.
We don't know if that's a fact. We have no idea that CPS wanted to interview him whatsoever. That's, again, completely fabricated BS.
Chris Proudfoot would get, let's not forget that, because they had motive as well there.
Again, that is a fabricated story that we have no factual basis behind at this point in time. The CPS records are completely sealed. They supposedly have been leaked according to Betty, but that's a whole other story and a side piece from today too. That's new rumors that are being started that's why the cease and desist went out and all of that stuff. We'll get into that at a later time.
That's a good point.
So okay, so I saw the house, and in that rating I described the house. Really, to make sense of it would take somebody who knew that circle. It would take either the cops if they were working on it, and I maybe there are some that are working on it, but multiple people have indicated that Kathy Bowersox is friends with the cops.
Right, the family is, yeah.
Kenny, Kenny comes in and says, I think that was people taking their dogs out to shit in the middle of the night. I mean, that's a possibility too, Kenny. Like, truly, people have made it into so much stuff.
Yeah, so, but yet the cops don't turn it over to TBI.
It's so frustrating. Gosh. And for the longest time, they didn't even have more than a $3,500 reward, or not reward.
No, they don't seem to.
They didn't even have a $3,500 reward. That was a promise to pay that the attorney that was gathering that had some fraudulent stuff in his past. That was never even a thing. Those were letters of intent that didn't pan out. The FBI came out and gave up to $50,000 reward.
To want him back at all. They don't care in the side. They don't seem to care. They don't appear to care in the slightest bit.
It just infuriates me so bad because these people call themselves true crime and can't even tell you a bit of the foundation of the story and factual basis in it. This is why true crime has such a bad look, because these people are the faces of the true crime. She's got almost 60,000 subs and people just believe this and eat it up. You should have seen the chat. They were just, we love JLR, her mods. We love T-Rev 757. We love BHB. Of course you do. Of course you do, because you act like this. Why is that shocking?
If my child was missing at age 15, I would be in front of the cameras every chance I got. I would be at every search, regardless. I mean, you wouldn't be able to keep me away if my child was missing. And Kate,
I love all these people that know exactly what they would do if their child was missing. They would be the heroic parents, running in on their horses to save the day. That's not how everybody's going to react. Some people are frozen in fear. Some people are told by law enforcement not to search. They don't want them searching. Some people can do that. Some people can go out there and do that. Others can't. And that's okay.
Katie and Chris are just like, you YouTubers, which are the reason this case is even picked up.
Oh, absolutely.
Already been forgotten. So, X YouTuber hates this YouTuber, hates that YouTuber. But in the end, that chaos and that circus has kept Sebastian's name, has put Sebastian's name on Court TV and Nancy Grace. They wouldn't have picked up even this story. It's too small. They picked it up because of the following, really, really attributable to T-Rev, even though he got in a fight with Seth, and so they don't like him.
Attributed to T-Rev. That's why all of the national media attention, even though before that even happened, they were on local media. Before that happened, and then they upped the story by salacious rumors to get interest of Nancy Grace. This is what we are now having to do, and according to them, to get missing children awareness out there, is to sell salacious stories to the media so they will pick, oh my God, I can't.
Each other now. But the reality is he sat there for 3 weeks. Nobody else was covering the story. And just every night was hammering on this missing kid that there's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. So, he does deserve credit for that. And even though people get tired of the drama, and like on Summer Wells, that was the ultimate Jerry Springer show drama fest. But the reality is, in the end, it all keeps those kids' names.
It does.
In the public eye.
The kids cannot consent and their dignity is lost in the meantime, but sure. Okay.
And then the bigger ones like Court TV will pick it up because of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's convoluted as can be, but yes, these drama, crazy making people just spread the story so that there is benefit to the drama.
Yeah.
So it's acceptable that people are making up staged phone calls about horrific abuse of minors and staging these calls for content on YouTube. Yeah, okay. They're giving their stamp of approval to that.
And in the end, when you had Don Wells calling everyone drunk all the time. I'm sure there was plenty there. Can you imagine the police going, oh my God, we have to listen to another 5 hours of Don Wells to try to get some evidence?
Oh, painful. Yeah.
Mocking another parent of a missing child because he might have been drinking a lot. Again, you can feel however you want to about these cases, but the reality is these people deserve some grace.
Yeah. So, but it would really take the police, right? Knowing every home cabin related to all the Bowersox friends, because let's get real. In my reading, I'm talking about a guy with a tooth here and a tooth, he's got something with his tooth, and the next day I'm receiving, photograph after photograph close up of Terry Bowersox's face. So I'm not saying it's him, and I'm not making any accusations. Yeah. And a psychic reading is the same legal equivalent of conjecture. But if the police actually were trying to solve this, they would be looking into every piece of property that fit this description that's related to Terry Bowersox.
For sure. And question for you, Donna, do you think, had you ever seen a photo of Terry before? Did this click when you saw in your reading?
Now they're just going to make some more bold accusations off of a reading of sorts that she did. Again, if you want to see the reading, I did a video on it, breaking it down before. It was the most nothing burger I've ever seen.
Guy with the tooth.
No, I had never seen him.
You just heard about him maybe, but not seen him physically.
Right. Okay. Because I don't really watch, I'm very interested in crime, but I don't watch a bunch of other people's stuff because I'm busy with my own life, and I'm busy doing readings, regular readings, just, people that miss their loved ones. That's what I do, is readings. Mm-hmm. And so no, I had never ever seen him. I had no idea who, I'm sitting there going, this guy, there's something with his tooth has popped out. I don't know if he has a cap on it. I don't know what's going on. It's like this, like that. And, I didn't know. And the next day I probably received 100 screenshots of the guy's face. And I'm just like, okay, well, there you go.
Validation, isn't it?
Yeah. And then there's two people named, the other name I said I was keep getting, I forgot, but there's two people in that family with that name. And one of them does custom woodworking, which I kept talking about.
Okay.
So let's see. So I'm looking at the transcript here.
That's please. Yeah. Talk about it.
I have to go back outside. This is giving me a headache. If you find out CPS records were leaked, please let me know. I absolutely will, because if they're leaking CPS reports, if that is actually happening, somebody needs to. Minors cannot consent, and that's not information that should be released at all. And thank you for your support, Crystal. This stuff is unbelievable that we are doing this again. These are all salacious rumors that were started months ago that these people have decided to come back out and regurgitate and dramatize even more for clicks and views. I'm sorry, that's what it is, but they're trying to help paint a narrative that is being spun by Nick and all the rest of them. It's the same thing. You watch Coffindaffer do some of the same shit with anonymous text messages that she couldn't read the whole thing on.
That's great.
They're reading a transcript of her previous reading that she did publicly on June 9th.
And you know what? Say what you want about Bullhorn Betty, but Terry Bowersox picked the wrong woman to mess with. So
Terry Bowersox didn't pick Bullhorn Betty to mess with. Bullhorn Betty picked Terry Bowersox to mess with. That's how that factually went, though.
That's what I think is kind of like, it's not funny, but it's funny in a way, because it's like,
I know
Bullhorn Betty is not going to back down.
No, she's not.
To the United States Constitution, she's not going to back down. He met his match on that. He can jump out and try to intimidate her all he wants, but she's just going to double down. So good luck.
Again, Terry Bowersox never jumped out of his car, never approached Betty. That is factually incorrect. She is manufacturing this shit, and people are buying it.
With that, Bowersox.
I know.
Let's see. Oh, and the thing I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So I would never talk that way.
I caught that, Donna. Yeah.
I don't use that.
She did say she said that out of her mouth. I remember pointing it out, and when we reviewed her, she did say that.
Thing. I'm just trying to go through here. Yeah. So I was, after the reading too, I'm sitting there going, oh, this person likes to make these specialty wooden boxes.
Yeah.
And then
you claim that the person was a woodworker of sorts.
Usually when I do a reading, then I'll that is when I'll start hopping around and looking at stuff, because I want to confirm things for my reading. And almost always they will tell me things that are already out there in addition to new things. So then I'll be confident enough, okay, this reading was spot on, and I'll upload it. All over in the back
unhoused. You would think so. You would think that this is, but unfortunately, YouTube does not protect victims and their families at all. A sad reality. That's the reality we're living in. They don't do anything to protect these victims.
Background of Katie Proudfoot's house is these specialty wooden boxes in every room. Every room.
Really?
So-
How did you see them, Donna? Are you talking about pictures you've seen, or you saw the psychic lead?
Good night, Cammie. Thanks for stopping by. I know this is a lot. I respect everybody that needs to tap out. This is a lot.
And no, and it could have been the interview Chronicles of Olivia did with her.
Okay. Okay.
Or maybe a news station, but it was like somebody interviewed them in their house, and then every room it showed had, they're about this big. I mean, they're big. They're on the floor.
Are we talking trunks?
Yeah, trunks.
Trunks. Okay. Okay.
Specialty wood, really nice, polished trunks, little trunks.
Okay.
They were in every room. So someone they know, and I already have an idea who that is, but I don't want to be accusing people
Good night, Darby. Have a great night.
because
Right.
anything a psychic says is literally the level of conjecture and speculation.
Yeah, and I want to make that clear real fast, just as a disclaimer. These are our opinions. We're also stating fact, and she's giving her opinion on what she's seen psychically. Because a lot of people be like, well, they assume it's all like fact. No, we're having a conversation. Donna and I would have this conversation offline.
They're putting it out here as fact, but now they're saying it's not fact. It's just our opinions, even though they've made some horrific allegations. Yeah, this disclaimer does not work for people. I really encourage people to understand that saying allegedly in your opinion when you're doing stuff like this and making accusations, that's not going to CYA. That's not going to cover your ass. It's really not, especially at this degree of defamation and slander, in my opinion.
Without you guys.
And that is my opinion because I'm not a legal person, but this is pretty horrific.
Exactly as we are right now, except there might be a little more cussing involved. Right, Donna?
I think I let the cussing thing out of the bag again. I gotta
We
stop,
should.
but it makes me so angry. It makes me, what they did to Nina just infuriates
Me
me.
too.
Like, it makes me so angry. And Nina, honestly, is likely to be alive. If they thought she was going to win, she might have just
Oh, I
been
know.
there too.
I know. She could have ended up like so many others.
I did see a couple things about Sebastian, some violence when he was brought at that house.
Now implying that he was going to harm Nina, unalive her.
But I didn't want to follow it all the way because I had already heard Seth say that he was hearing psychics say Sebastian was dead and that it traumatized him really bad, and he really wants to believe that he's alive until proven otherwise. And I respect that because I also think I have to be careful of myself because like on the Lori Vallow thing, I didn't expect anyone to listen to that.
Right.
The only reason I uploaded this really graphic reading was because to send to the police so they would know what happened. It was like, so I just have to be cognizant of, I don't want to cause people harm and trauma.
And I want to say something real quick to the audience.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of really
Don't want to cause people harm and trauma. Meanwhile, intentionally re-victimizing a victim, mocking a victim, believing one victim and completely shitting on another and laughing about it and smirking about it. All right. Yeah, Donna, get fucked.
evil people on YouTube that have been
There's really evil people on YouTube. Yeah, the two right there on your screen.
blasting Donna's ability, or me, both
Or
of us.
jealous people.
Yeah, this is called blasting the lack of ability, the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, the lack of everything. You guys lack it all. The only thing you have, little sweetie Pilo, is a beautiful face. Other than that, you are a vile, disgusting piece of trash. That's not my opinion. That's fact based on the actions you put out here publicly.
And it has to stop. And let me tell you why. If you want to see if Donna's the real deal, go to
It has to stop. Well, stop putting shit out here like this. It ain't gonna stop.
her YouTube channel. Watch her videos. Watch her readings done 4 months before those kids were found. You cannot tell me that this woman didn't get every detail right on. Compare it to the court testimony. You guys have got to stop. Like I'm shooting straight to these people who keep talking shit. It has to stop today. I'm sick.
It has to stop today. Well, buckle up, bitch, because this was a couple hours ago. And you've just proven the point of why people call you out and will continue to call you out because this is disgusting. This is disgusting.
Not only that, but some of these YouTube creators who have insulted me, when I put up a reading, their new story the next day is, I have a new theory. And then they repeat things I said in my reading. And then in the same live stream, they'll go, I hate psychics. And it's like,
yeah, unfortunately, there's people that mimic you and mirror you and think it's the cool thing to do because there's many of people that claim that they have abilities that are milking this case. Unfortunately, that's true.
All right. You know, all right. They do that a lot. Like on the Dylan Rounds one, they were doing it to the extreme. I counted 20 of them. 20 of them. The day after I uploaded one of the readings about Dylan Rounds, 20 of them, and 2 of them sat there and disavowed psychics in the same segment. But clearly they had listened to my reading. They said it was their new theory, and they repeated what was in my reading. So, and that doesn't even address the other psychics who just copy everything I put up. So, just suffice, I don't mind if people make theories out of my readings, or even if another psychic says, oh yeah, Donna saw this and I'm kind of seeing something similar, or I'm seeing something slightly different, because we're filtering it through our vision. But just give me credit if you use my work. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, that's the right thing to do, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, because remember there was that one girl that had cancer. I don't know if she's alive. And I think that was somewhere else. And
I'll take you in this and give you credit. I'll 100% give you credit for all the vile shit that you're saying about parents of a missing child.
Every day when I put something, she would put it up. But she gave me credit.
Okay.
Remember, because we were talking, you said this girl's doing, and I said, you know what? She's saying my name. She's giving me credit. And then she's saying she's seen the same thing, but she's giving me credit. And really, that's all I can ask for on YouTube. And I do appreciate that. And people have my permission to do that if they give me credit. That's
for
fine.
sure. Yeah.
So
we don't need your permission. It falls under fair use, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm on 2 minutes of the transcript. I don't know what to say. It looks like I'm describing the place where he was brought.
Yes.
There's a couple people who messaged me on Facebook that have sent me some photos of, like, I would say a mile away or something like that. There's an old tractor as a decoration, but then at some, I don't know if it's ever ready. There's a whole bunch. I don't know what you want me to say. I saw him brought to a place. I saw him put in the outbuilding. I saw him brought out. I saw him being attacked. I saw some things, and then
you saw him being attacked. She saw him being attacked.
I didn't actually see him buried, but I kept being shown this flower box, and then I kept having this ominous feeling about it, like a wondering, like, okay, but I didn't see him killed, and I purposely stopped it before that, just out of respect for Seth.
Hey, Kimber, thank you for being here, and thank you for being a member.
Okay, and the attack maybe you did see, was it with a weapon? Anything you can?
I hit in the back of the head with a shovel.
Now we have gone to the extent of being hit in the back of the head with a shovel. Told you it was going to get worse.
A shovel. Okay.
I also saw him, someone go like that to him.
Okay.
And maybe a little more. I'm not sure. I just didn't put it, because actually my computer was working too, and I didn't want to put all that stuff on there to traumatize Seth or whatever.
Right.
And so I just let it be. You know, I just let it be. I figured if they want more readings, I'll do more readings. I haven't heard anything. If Seth's mom wants reading, I'll help. So if you don't know my work, mainstream media noticed me, my accuracy, but instead of saying, oh, wow, there's a psychic who's like super accurate, they decided to try to make up lies about me. BBC actually had their people fly all the way here, spend the day at my house, act super nice to me, and then put up a hit piece where they took different pieces of things and made total lies. So I just decided that if I'm going to do readings,
that was in the Idaho 4 documentary.
I'm only going to do them with family or friends that will have my back, or that I have proof that that person wanted me to do that. You know, so I just am protecting myself that way.
Right.
Oh, I was seeing all these different clues about where this house was, like the chimney smoke, the sky.
That's what I wanted to ask you. The chimney smoke. How was that shown to you, and what do you think it means?
Well, it's definitely a clue. It's probably the name of something. So some people said maybe it's the Smoky Mountains. Some people said there's a place called Chimney Top, but because they showed it to me 3 times, because the first time I thought they were just showing me this house, which looked,
again, it was a very broad reading. So she threw in very common things that can fit anything. Like, you can, when this is solved, she'll be able to go back and pick and choose different things and say, see, I was right about this because I said something about smoke, or whatever the case may be. That is what they do.
Kind of like a ranch style house or a long house. And the house did not face straight to the freeway, which is so interesting because Chris and Katie Proudfoot's house doesn't face to the freeway. I mean, to the street. And I was saying honeysuckle, and then the next street over is honeysuckle. So to me, I'm just like, that's all weird. You know?
That's got to mean something. That's got to mean something. Seriously, because with the Chad Daybell.
Don't forget there's a mailbox too, and some flower beds, and an A-frame house, and some woodworking, and a road that faces, it was so fucking disgusting.
Stuff. You talk specifically about, what was it? Trapper Lane. You kept saying trapping, trapper, trap. You just kept
Trapper
saying-
could walk by. This trapper kept walking through on the siege reading, dressed like Daniel Boone, and I go, "This guy's a trapper, not a hunter. This guy's a trapper." And all the hours spent on Google Maps never showed it because the city had renamed it a number, and it didn't come up on Google Maps. And then all the neighbors, I talked to almost every single of Chad Daybell's neighbors during this time. Like I would find them, call them, talk to them.
Yeah.
And then after it was over, like a bunch of them sent me pictures of Trapper Lane, which was the next street from Chad Daybell. The locals left the sign up and they still call it Trapper Lane. And it's like, why didn't any of them tell me? It's because people who don't know mediumship didn't realize the significance that everything I say could be the name of something. So if they show me a honeysuckle flower and the next street over from Chris and Katie's house is honeysuckle,
right?
It works. That's how it works. It's like everything is visions. Almost everything is visions.
That's my experience following what you do, Donna. So if you're seeing honeysuckle, I think it ties to something, whether it could be maybe where the person parked. They could have parked on honeysuckle and walked in by foot.
The fact that she has got this lady with 60,000 subs co-signing her bullshit and amping it up is so dangerous.
Or something. I guarantee it means something.
He curved around honeysuckle. And actually, if you go down this road where you're not very far away from there and it starts, look, I said, it looks like you're in the boonies, but you're not. Mm-hmm. You do go through this road where there's all these trees. And then when it comes clearing, there's a big piece of property and someone put a very old tractor out there for decoration, just like I described.
Okay.
But then there's also, there's a few clues. So if I was there in Tennessee, I would go to these locations that are possibilities that people send me. And I would see if I start getting chills and start like having visions and stuff like that. Because there's also like, do you remember the name I said at the end? And then everyone says it's related to RVs, fixing RVs.
Was it the Steadfast?
Yeah, Steadfast. There's a Steadfast RV park, and it might have a relationship to honeysuckle there too. So there's a Steadfast RV park. I don't know if it's in the Smoky Mountains. Like I can't remember everything, but
look at your Google history. I'm sure it will help you.
That has a tractor in the front for a decoration too.
Okay, and I was doing my own research this morning, Donna, and I think that Steadfast name completely clicks with this. And I don't want to put their name out here because God knows they'll get inundated with phone calls, emails, everything. But this person fixes things, installs cabinets, things like that, and their places. That's the name of it. It's like Steadfast, and they service that whole part of, is it East Tennessee? I think.
Like, who doesn't want to put their name out there? Meanwhile, continues to go ahead and put their business out there.
Yeah. That whole, East Tennessee. So they service that entire area, and that's what they do. They'll winterize these RVs, and knowing that Bowersox has ties to RVs, going back to the former, 100%, knowing that he has ties to those kind of people, and then the former employee Matt, who talked to Jays for Justice, and what he said about Bowersox, that he's got the potential to be totally evil, that he's heard him say horrible things about Sebastian, for example. I think there's something to that. The tie is through the RV. I think that's what Steadfast is, Donna.
And again, I already explained that whole thing. We're supposed to take some random person that calls into a show and claims to be somebody associated with Terry Bowersox. Sure.
Oh, I did too.
With like this supposed first cousin of Katie's that came out last night and made a post and they're all running wild with it. Yeah, sure.
And I don't know if it's that one that you're talking about because Steadfast is also, I don't know if it's RV Tools or a company that redoes RVs, but it looks like a lot of RVs would use it. So it might be, it's something to do with updating and fixing RVs. And Chris, or Mr. Bowersox does that for a living as well. As then there's a person who made a business named that. And then there's the RV park named that. So like if I was really working the case and able to go there, I would be making a big chart where, okay, here's potential, here's the clue, and here's potentials of that clue, what these could be, and then like see where you'll start getting a cluster of it all fitting together.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, so enlightening. Hey, Rabbit.
I think the hardest thing is we're not there. We can't see this stuff in real life. So really, the audience right now, if you're in this general area and something clicks, go look into it. See if you can put 2 and 2 together and start figuring things out. Not to say we're the ones that are going to solve it, but honestly, Donna's readings have been so amazingly accurate in the past that maybe it will lead to something, some tip that you could then turn in that helps find them. You just never know. That's why.
Inundate law enforcement with more fake tips from psychics. That sounds like a great idea. Bog down the phone lines with more irrelevant tips based on a psychic reading based off of fabricated stories. Okay, great idea.
especially if you're friends with the Bowersocks and the Proudfoots, but you don't approve of what may have happened. You may be of the most help of all.
Yeah.
You know, because somebody out there who might hear this might recognize something.
For
And,
sure.
and if it ever does get solved, for sure these things we'll be able to place them then, you know. Someday I hope, very soon, I hope to be able to get a van and drive around to these places like before people know who I am, and go in there and do my readings, and then go to all the places I can
Before people know who you are, ma'am, you're never going to get famous. You're a fucking whack. Sorry.
find and
Yeah.
film them and figure it out, because just to even be able to go somewhere where something happened, there's still energy there. There's always the energy of it.
She wants to be the next bullhorn buddy on the ground doing readings. This is going to be lovely. I mean, what could go wrong?
Still lingers.
Mm.
So
Reverend Donna Serafina on the run in a van down by the river.
yeah, I'm only on 3 minutes in, and I'm just describing the house all over again. Oh, I say it looks like a middle-class house. I wasn't sure if it had a second story or not. I saw some sort of like carport thing. That's where I saw the female go in, and she was talking to the male, but then she left again, which is interesting because Kathy Bowersocks was back in the neighborhood around 5 a.m., right? And then allegedly just happened to run into.
That's what people think. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they just officially say that, or people were
I'm
just
not
saying?
sure if anything's come out like that. I know that I heard on that day when he vanished that Kathy Bowersocks did come over. That's what I've heard. I can't confirm it though, that it's fact or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Okay.
So the first 3 minutes, I'm describing this house where Sebastian was brought to, and at the time, I'm seeing him alive. I'm seeing him put out in this.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a shed, a garage, a barn. I didn't know what that was. Then I'm talking about. They're showing me Maplewood, so that's another clue. Maplewood. And I'm describing the house again. Really, really describing the house a lot.
It's funny to hear her like retell this reading that she had, which she's trying to fit differently this time.
Does it look like a big, like almost mansion, beautiful home, or is it average?
It was like built from the 50s and the 70s, or no later than the 1990s. Not one of the big nice homes. It would be like I wasn't even sure if it was a cabin or.
Really? The house was built in the 50s, the 70s, or the 90s. Which fucking one is it? You're the one that can't she talk?
She's got visions. Yeah, she's.
Well, then which one was it?
I don't know. She needs to.
This lady's fucking getting under my skin. I really don't like this bitch.
Tell us how you really feel.
She's a fucking manipulator.
Well, yes.
And all the people that watch, shame on the people that fucking watch that, and they're like, yeah, makes sense.
Kyle's home.
Fucking psycho.
Kyle just got home from work.
Or just like someone's home, and it felt like you were going up a mountain, or it felt like you were going uphill, and then there's a curve, and the house is on the curve, and it's sideways to the road.
I'm telling you, he's invested. He's invested these days. Like he watches. Oh, there you go. There's a new word. I'm consumed, and Kyle's invested. There you go, Brittany. New words for you. Invested and consumed. Add that to your little thing. Anyways, he is so beyond frustrated the fact that these people do this every day, and to the parents, like he's astonished. Like he knew this was going on. He knew this is what I talked about and stuff, but he's really been paying attention over the last few months and like listening while he's at work when we do lives and stuff. And he is mind blown at the amount of manipulation and how they do all this. Watching him watch this stuff now, like a man, I don't know, it's really, for me, it's very nice to hear men stand up for other men, though, and victims, female, male, whatever the case is. It's really refreshing because we've seen mostly men really gravitate to Sebastian's story and milk it for all it's worth. Spanky, T-Rev, Dolly, JLR, Truth. Gosh, there's so many more. There's so many men that have latched onto this case and done the worst of the worst. So it's refreshing for me.
Okay.
And I said I would think that I was in the middle of nowhere, except for up ahead. I know there's some things, whether it's the town or whatever. Okay. And always remember, from any psychic medium, they're seeing through the filter of their own life.
I call Justin Spanky.
So I am only from a big city.
Don B.
And I think that issue came up a couple of times on the Lori Vallow case too, because I can't remember
Pascal
why, but just being in a big city and then seeing something.
Justin on TikTok.
I don't know.
Nick the Hat. Hong. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Like I stopped one reading with JJ's aunt because I saw a cow standing on the lake.
Peter Hyatt. Yeah, the list goes on of all the men that have been. Yeah, it's sad.
And I'm like, cows wouldn't stand on a lake.
Wow.
I'm just seeing things. Well, yeah, they would if it's called a cow reservoir.
Bloop. Yep. Sniffers on the scene.
I don't even know that.
Oh,
I
right.
said there's a lake there. There's swans in the lake, and even the lady who owns, what's it called? Cow something, when you fill up your whole field with water.
Oh, irrigation?
Whatever, yeah. And the, one of the neighbors said every time they do that, we go kayaking. So she sent me pictures of her and her daughter going kayaking, and then the woman who owned the big ranch or whatever, she actually contacted me and she was really mad.
The lab, Trevor Lee. Unfortunately, Trevor Lee's out of it now, but he was involved in the beginning. Trevor Lee, Tony, Chris McDonough, Dr. Gary. Yeah,
Trying to bully me and get me to tell her who's that neighbor that's kayaking on her. I'm like, lady, I'm trying to solve a murder here, and if you want to tell me something confidential, you tell me,
Right.
because I'm keeping everyone confidential, and you can tell that because I'm not going to tell you anything, no matter what you do to me, what you say. It was
Right,
kind of
she's defiant. Yeah.
just trying to bully me.
Man.
So I said, yeah, I'm on only 4 minutes.
Okay.
I'm like talking about the wood on the house.
And what does the wood on the house?
A lot of times it's near the top of the mountain.
she has to go in and read the transcript from her video to remember this reading. What?
Now I say that, but that could be a name. So, and then I said, oh, I see the mountain ridge. So then they showed me the ridge of the mountain. A lot of times if they do something like that, there'll be a bridge in the name of a street there or around there.
I wonder if this is Gallatin you're pegging here.
Air Force vet, that would not even surprise me because they are buddies.
I don't know.
Let me take a look. Hold on a second.
I would also take anything related to that sister of Chris Proudfoot.
That's what I think.
I had a couple of friends out because clearly if she suggested to her brother that he should murder his
I know.
wife while she's holding a newborn baby.
Whoa. There you go. There you go is another one. CJ. Brothers Underwater Recovery. Narc Divers. Some of these guys aren't terrible. Narc isn't terrible, but fuck, the list goes on and on of all these men. So they're claiming that, I'm going to back that up so you guys can hear that again of what she just said there. This is out of control, you guys.
A lot of times if they do something like that, there'll be a bridge in the name of a street there or around there.
I wonder if this is Gallatin you're pegging here.
I don't know.
Let me take a look. Hold on a second.
I would also take anything related to that sister of Chris Proudfoot.
That's what I think.
I had a couple of friends out because clearly if she suggested to her brother that he should murder his
I know.
wife while she's holding a newborn baby.
So supposedly Chris's sister suggested that he take care of his ex-wife while she was holding their child. And they're basically implying that Chris's sister is capable of doing horrific things.
Wow.
Honestly, Donna, as you're talking about this, that's what I keep thinking about. I do.
Gallatin.
No, the sister of Chris.
Now they're implicating,
I don't know if it was the sister, the mother, or something,
they're implicating Chris's sister now.
but there was a female there for a bit and then she left.
Okay. That's just
And
my
then-
opinion. That doesn't mean I'm
Then I
right.
saw the men harm him.
Repeat that. What'd you say?
Then I saw the men harm him, but the woman left.
Multiple men.
Saw the men harm him.
More than one? Two
Yeah.
men? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Jeez.
And you know what another thing was after that little girl in Texas, Audrey Cunningham?
Yeah.
She didn't look like my daughter Nicole, who was murdered, but she had the exact same coloring. She had that white hair, this milky white skin,
Yes.
and it just, I couldn't even upload the reading. I had like a nervous breakdown for 3 days. I was crying. It was just brought back, and then I was praying to God to never let me see another child murdered again.
Oh, I can't.
And then now I'm like, okay, God, I think I'm ready again.
Yeah.
But I tell you that seeing the adults murdered, it doesn't bother me.
This is some sick shit. I'm sorry, you guys. This is beyond deranged. I don't even know what to say. Like, I have no words. This is a moment of me being speechless. Like, what do you even say about this? How is this helping? How is this helpful to parents of missing children? How is this helping find missing children? How is this getting justice for Sebastian if that's needed? How is any of this helping? And how are we as a society okay with people doing this to victims and their families, going through a tragedy when we have no proof that any of this happened? How are we okay with this? And again, I'm going to repeat, keep talking your shit about me. Keep saying, oh, look at nonsense. She's a grifter. She's a trad. Fuck you people. I don't even care. Call me whatever you want. I will continue to sit here and highlight the worst of the worst, because until you spineless bitches can stand up and say enough is enough of what's happening to these victims and their families, don't talk to me. Fucking, I'm so irritated today that this is happening and people are more concerned about us calling it out.
And
as much.
yeah, I mean, I get mad, like seeing Suzanne Morphew murdered or seeing, Nikki McCain.
Katie, I know. I'm not talking to my chat. I'm talking to the assholes that, ugh, there was another stupid video.
Murdered or something. But when I see the children murdered,
Right.
it just makes me so sad, for the longest time. Like, they're so innocent.
I appreciate this chat and you guys understanding how sick this is, because this is just, I'm just stunned. I'm stunned that this is where we are in society, that this is okay.
And it's just,
Oh, it would kill me.
kill an innocent child is like, it's just a whole nother level.
Honestly, I don't know how anybody can harm a child. I
No.
can't connect with that even being in the realm of possibility. It's so insane. Hang on a second. You know what, Donna? This could be really an important call. I got to mute out for a second. If you want to talk to them.
Okay, I'll keep going. I'll try to answer some questions.
Okay.
And I'll say, because I'm not, okay, so I'm at 4 minutes. So I'm showing there's some kind of outbuilding. And after I see, if you ever do listen to the reading, a lot of times what comes before and what comes after might be related. Sometimes it's a whole new thing. And so it kind of takes evaluating it, but always look at what came before and what came after to see if it's connected. And then in other cases, I might do a reading and just once or twice, like someone will go, why do you repeat yourself over and over? Why don't you just say it once? And it's like, I just repeat what the spirits are showing me. And if they do anything, if they show me more than once and they show it in a pattern, they're showing me that multiple things being related. So if they repeat themselves in a triangle pattern, like 3 things, I know those 3 things are related because they will do it like 2.
Now they repeat things in triangular patterns. What the fuck? How can they repeat? I'm done. Triangular patterns. What?
2 or 3 times like that. And that's what the spirits want me to know. So that's the reason for that. But after I see
My spirit wants you to know you're fucked.
the outbuilding, I see the honeysuckle, and it very well could be a name. I get shenanigans, honeysuckle.
Steadfast was in your reading.
Let's see. Oh, about Madeline Soto.
Don't forget about the mailbox.
Yeah, you know what? My heart breaks for Madeline Soto. So a lot of times how I decide if I'll do a reading on something is if I can sense that the police might need some extra information. When the Madeline Soto thing broke out, I already knew. I mean, they found her within a day. I already, it's like a feeling in the pit of my stomach or in my heart. Like I already know it's in the bag, so to speak, as far as finding the body and resolving things. So it's not necessary for me to do that. And what I would say about
it's in the bag. Speaking of a deceased minor,
especially with it is literally like going into the dark side, and I liken it to jumping in a swimming pool of liquid razor blades. So I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to put on the protection of Jesus Christ and the archangels and God, and I ask for my daughter to help. And
this is why I have such a hard time with fucking people like this give Christians a bad name. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. They do.
I ask for my spirit guides to help. And I'm willing to do that if I have a feeling that the police might need more information. But if I already knew, the second I saw that Maddie Soto thing, I knew they were going to find her body, so it wasn't necessary. And when I see her and I can feel, just looking at Maddie, I can feel the sense of helplessness. Can you imagine from age 7 to 12 being raped by your mom's boyfriend and having your mom really, really being part of it as far as allowing it to happen? There's nothing anyone can say to convince me that that mom did not know and did not allow that. So I don't need to do a reading because the effect on me would be crushing. It would be crushing to feel that pain that I already could feel just by looking at Maddie.
So for some people, it's pain that she feels. For others, it's disdain, hate, and vitriol that she spews to use their trauma against them. Gotcha.
So the motive would be that they were trying to get custody of Faith, and that CPS was going to interview Sebastian. And if it came out, if Sebastian talked
There's no indication that that's true.
to CPS about the abuse in the house, then they would never get custody of Faith. That was the motive. Let's see. I don't know if they'll find Sebastian or not. I don't know if they will. They might, but I don't know. And, his father hopes they'll find him alive, and Dog the Bounty Hunter hopes they'll find him alive, and I hope they'll find him alive, But when you look at this family and how violent they are, how manipulative they are, and how vindictive they are, how Chris Proudfoot actually stated if people knew the truth about Sebastian, they wouldn't be looking for him. Okay, that's a quote by Chris Proudfoot. Now, do you think the person who would say something like that would not also go do the ultimate evil act?
Jesus, take the wheel. How is this okay?
Especially if he hated him so bad that a lot of autistic people don't have as much self-control. So if he was taken out, like this boy across the street from me was autistic, and the police brought him home a couple of times. He went to the park and he took his clothes off. So if that's what Chris's justification is, that people wouldn't be looking for him.
We have no indication that Chris did anything to harm this child.
Is he then capable of doing the ultimate harm? And the answer to that is yes. So I'm not accusing him of doing it. I didn't see him do it. I'm not accusing anybody really of doing it. I'm just going over my reading and from the criminal justice background as to if it's a possibility. And yes, it's absolutely possible.
This isn't CYAing you at all. This is not covering your ass there, Donna. I hope you get what's coming to you.
And this family is absolutely capable. And I don't think they saw him as an actual person. They could have even figured they were just doing justified in getting rid of him.
Getting rid of a problem like that, you think, Donna?
Well, yeah. I don't think they saw him as a human being. They're like, oh, he's messed up. He's taking
damaged goods.
He's pooping his pants. Let's just take him out to the woods.
Holy shit. I don't know if I can do this. What do you say about that? What do you say to that? How are people this vile? Damaged goods, taken out to the woods.
Oh, God.
And sometimes people do that even if they're not trying to hide from CPS the fact that they abused him and that they're trying to get custody of someone else's child. So someone was asking me if it's possible, I think.
Okay.
So Bernadette was asking the police.
And look at that smile on her face. I want you to take that in for a minute. I want you to take that fully in for a minute. I want you to watch Sweetie Pilo's face as they're talking about a child potentially being unalived, a child that they're referring to as damaged goods. None of the parents have ever said that about Sebastian. Nowhere remotely close. That was Betty. And to the dumb bitch, Brittany J, that referred and covered for Betty and said that she didn't say that. You said that last night. You said that she didn't say that in any other way other than saying that Katie said that. No, again, factually incorrect. She said it numerous times. One time on her backup channel, I clipped that and actually put it in a video. It's already been fact checked for you. So stop going with that shit. Betty absolutely called him defective. That didn't come from Katie or Chris either, but go on. Watch her face as she says this stuff.
Ask for clues. No, and that's why I haven't done any more work on it. The police have not asked for clues. And from what I understand, Kathy Bowersox is friends with the police people, some police in the police department. She probably donates money. I mean, she's a hustler for this real estate business of hers.
I'm sure. You know what bothers me is they never even went with luminol into that home ever,
Look at the smile on her smug face.
from what I understand, unless they have.
Forensics were done. Dogs were in and out of that house. That house was searched thoroughly.
Since I last spoke to people who know.
Yeah.
AKA since she last spoke to Seth.
But that's really troubling.
It's very troubling. I mean,
Seth was there during the day, all day long in the first 3 days of the entire search.
and there have been a couple cases where an autistic person left their house and 3 years later they're picked up by police, right? So you can hope that way. But the odds are not good.
No, for sure. Completely, Donna.
I didn't get much past the honeysuckle. I'm only on 6 minutes here.
Okay, so question. So the buck-toothed Billy that you described with the corn thing, was it that you saw a corn kernel in his tooth?
They showed me over and over about that. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so starting at 6 minutes, and they're showing me the house again, and then they go to, let's see. Then they show me a corn cob. Then they show me a man. He's eating the corn cob, and then there's a corn stuck on his tooth. But I'm getting this feeling maybe he has a cap on his tooth or missing a tooth. So you see, I hadn't seen a picture of him because it's like I'm like, there's something to do with this guy's front tooth, but I don't even know what.
So now she's taking her reading that she did on June 9th and trying to make it somehow that Terry Bowersox is the guy with the tooth that she saw with this corn. Oh,
What it is.
Okay.
Right? How they got me to really recognize it, they shows me someone eating a corn cob and the corn sticking out there, sticking on his tooth. And then I'm like,
wow.
corn on his tooth. And then I'm seeing someone with a cap on their tooth, and I'm seeing someone with a missing tooth. But either way, they want me to talk about this front tooth. Right.
And that couldn't better
that's
describe
means.
him. That couldn't better describe you know who, in my opinion.
I had at least 100 people send me a screenshot, a close-up of Terry Bowersox the next day.
But what's crazy, Don, is I can't believe that you didn't automatically think, well, you had never seen his picture, never mind. Like, because to me, it's the most notable thing about this dude is the tooth. You know,
yeah, and see, I was aware. I had never watched a whole episode of T-Rev. I just thought, well, that's really nice. He's hung up on this one case. I think I'll help him, and I shared it to my thing just because it's a missing kid.
Okay.
But I didn't watch it. So if he showed, I don't even know if he showed a picture of that guy then or not. But I was just like aware. So it's like there's this buzz out there, but I'm just always doing readings, right? And I'm like, well, that's nice. He's really sticking on to that, you know. And so I shared his thing just because of that. But yeah, when they sent me that the next day, and then maybe there's a cap, maybe it's missing, something to do with his tube. And then, but it's like literally how they bring through, it's just like charades, and they're showing me him eating the corn, and then all of a sudden he's got a piece of corn on his tooth. Really, I would guess again, the interpretation part, it could be something else. Makes more sense, like the corn cob, but for that, then I did.
if she's so gifted, why does she have to read the transcript of her reading? Why isn't she just pulling from memory?
See the man. I did see the man. I'll tell you.
Okay, can you describe him really?
I don't want to get in trouble for accusing people, but I saw him.
Okay, can you talk about that?
No.
Oh,
Toby, a lot of them do it, in my opinion, because people that call in will say horrific things and make wild speculation for them to run on, and it's kind of a degree of separation. So they're not saying it, they're allowing other people to say it. So they don't feel responsible for what other people are saying. They want people to call in and say all these horrific things, but it kind of gives them a buffer zone, in my opinion. That's why they do it, so they can amp up the audience. That's a lot of the reason that they're doing that.
you don't want to do it?
Just for legal reasons. I don't want to talk about it, but
And thank you for the support.
I did see the man and I did see the woman.
Is there
I saw-
any detail that you could say that's vague enough?
Yeah,
that
he's got a big tooth, his tooth sticks out.
Oh, just the tooth. Okay, so that's as much as you
No,
want to
no,
say.
I saw his coloring, his hair color and stuff is also consistent.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
nice.
Interesting.
And it's also a way of content farming too, Toby, in my opinion. When people don't have anything new to go on, they open up the phone lines or invite people to come up and they regurgitate rumors and speculations and they run with it. It's another form of content farming. It's to keep it going when there's no new information. There hasn't been any new information for months. There is nothing new, but you see that it's been drawn out every single day with salacious, crazy rumors in this story, because that's how they kick them up again. They get people to amp up, and that's a way of controlling the narrative.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
I mean,
exactly?
if I was the police, I would be
Barking at
every
that tree?
single cell tower. Really, it should be the FBI or single cell tower. Terry Bauer Sox's phone place hit that night. I mean, that's why, you know, some of these, I
Secret Service was brought in to help with data collection too.
can do a reading.
Yeah.
But if the police aren't going to pay attention to it, or somebody who knows them, it's,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
it's
we
only
know.
after the fact that we're gonna get some answers. And then, I kept seeing the little girl. So she was around 7 or 8. So that place that they brought her to,
Okay.
the girl around 7 or 8 is also associated with that house. And I didn't think it was Faith. At the time, I thought Faith was older, but I still think it was someone else. And I also heard on the grapevine later that did Chris and Katie Proudfoot go pick up their niece on Saturday night, the same day that Sebastian went missing, and they reported.
Oh,
missing?
yeah.
And whose child was
Believe
that?
so. Sisters. I think it's Chris's sister's child is who they picked up. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But Chris wasn't there. Remember, he was in Memphis supposedly. But
Yeah,
Katie,
his story really doesn't really land in the
I
wash.
know.
You know, he could have also left where he's going, and you know,
Meanwhile, law enforcement has said their stories have been vetted.
or they could have taken care of it for him. But something's eating him alive, man. At court.
Oh,
That looks to me
absolutely.
like
I thought he looked unrecognizable, Donna, in
I
the
know.
photos I had seen. I thought, whoa, is this stress eating? What's the deal? And
Again, mocking the parents of a missing child under immense amounts of stress and saying, is it stress eating? I mean, the man shaved his face and people have lost their minds.
it could be. I
How
don't know.
old is it stress, or does he got a demonic attachment? Because when you do,
Does he have, and this is where I check out, a demonic attachment? What are you going to lay hands on him and pray the demons away? This is why I don't like women like Donna, because I grew up with them.
things like that,
It sticks to
when
you.
even if you start having negative thoughts and you allow them to fester, like you want to hurt someone, you want to hurt someone, you want to hurt someone, that energy will be out like a frequency, and little demons, most people don't even sense them. The dark
Yeah.
energies will come and help you with ideas, and they're going to attach to you and feed off you after that
Wow.
too. So
true.
they're not going to do it for free, just like the mafia, you know. So
Right.
people should really even control their thoughts. Like if you have a thought and you're like, why would I have that thought? You know, that's not like me, because it probably wasn't from you. It really does work that way. So,
Right.
He,
And that-
he just looks, his face, yeah, barely recognizable.
Oh, honestly, when people were posting that on Facebook, I thought, oh, they're just comparing him,
Look at how giddy she is about this.
his looks to someone else. That's not him. And I go, wait, that's him in court? What? I was shocked. I couldn't believe
I
it.
was
'cause he
too. I had
he
to look
looks
at him
so
a couple
different.
times. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he
He's
looks-
seen him alive.
Has to be. But you know, it's weird because for some people, when they're stressed, they hardly, like, that's what happens to me. I hardly eat. But
Mhm.
when some other people are stressed, they can't stop eating. So it's crazy
Yeah.
how different people process the
Yeah,
stress.
some people it's like food nurturing themselves,
Yes.
nurturing themselves, and then other people are just like stomachs in knots and they can't.
Yeah.
You know.
See, I eat a lot. Like when I'm happy, I'm a huge eater. When I'm sad or, you know, stressed or whatever, forget it. I hardly eat. It's very weird how I deal
Nobody gives a fuck about you. I'm sorry.
with it. By the way, I want to tell you, there are some people here that were in my live stream the other day. My daughter, I talked about
I don't want to hear about this. Sorry. We're going to fast forward. This is the part that I want to cut out.
lifetime because a lot of things I used to be totally so scared.
Yeah. Fear. She's trying to tell me to get up, and I'm like looking at this water, like I can't even get, you know,
That's-
3 feet to get this water and stuff.
that's what's happened. And then I have a pain really bad that day. So I just, in case she's here, I
Oh,
just
so
want
you're just like, There's a little cyst in there or something, and so I could feel this pressure.
he started having trouble swallowing.
They submitted it to, and so did the what's that small town called where Chad was? Mailbox, One Tree or whatever, like I described.
Yeah,
And
in the
they
Lori
said-
Fallow.
They said they found that, and then they could get a warrant. Then they can't say, "Gosh, the psychic seems to be on top of it," and you know she has an accurate pass. So, Judge, can we go search? They can't. Almost every state has a law about that.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, the big chills were about this woodworking. Then I saw the really old tractor on the property. Looks like it's from the 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but it's being used as a decoration.
Okay.
Decorated mailbox. Again, the little girl, saw her multiple times, 7 or 8 years old.
What did she look like?
She's a witness. She had brunette hair, and there
Okay.
was some curls in it. It was kind of long, but I don't know if they were someone put curls or if it's naturally wavy or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So she saw him there. So I'm going on and on about the house. Again, I mentioned Maplewood again. So Maplewood then could be on the house, or it could be the name of a street, or it could be a name of a town. It could be a name of a neighborhood. But it will appear if they do solve this. Yeah, I said it again. I mentioned that green dark. It's like so dark. It's not black, but it's like almost black. It's like super dark forest green truck.
Okay.
And they are months later trying to rehash this. Again, this is a reading from June that they're decided to go over today and re-amplify all of this misinformation.
And then
Older model, Donna?
just a work truck.
Okay.
Not any particular age, just a work truck, because it had that little frame where work people hired put pipes, and they put PVC pipes and they hang ladders from it. Had one of those.
Okay.
So then they showed me the raised flower beds again. So in conjunction at this house, there's these raised flower beds, and I did see him hit in the back of the head with a shovel. I saw him like that, and then I kept seeing the flower beds, and having this ominous feeling, like wondering about that. But
Yeah.
I didn't follow it, and because honestly, it also came on the heels of me praying to God not to see, and also seeing Seth talked about how traumatized he was. So on both things, I'm just like, okay, I'm letting it go here and focusing on describing this location.
Wasn't there speculation about garden beds in the Proudfoot home, outside of the Proudfoot home, Donna?
What? Anybody in the chat remember garden beds being what?
That sounds familiar.
It does. You know what? I think the neighbors I spoke to were talking about that.
Neighbors she spoke to. Another one that has involved herself with the neighbors.
Debbie, did they just put them in after this happened? Wouldn't that be weird if the whole thing was at their house?
See, that's what is crazy, especially when you say honeysuckle and knowing that
Toby, thanks for stopping by. I totally understand. I'm about to check out myself. This is too much.
it's close.
That's around the
Actually,
block.
it's very close.
Oh, and then there's those new housing tracks going into. That's construction workers tend to bury bodies in places like that a lot.
Right.
It's like, people are so stupid. Like Chad Daybell up in Idaho. Okay, you have a whole state that's basically trees,
Yes.
and
Makes
then
no
you
sense.
bury them in your backyard. Like,
I know.
super stupid.
Yeah. Of all the places he could have done it, right? Very
Yeah.
It's insane.
Okay, so then at 14 minutes, I'm saying how you see things is a little, this is really important. Steadfast, the name steadfast is a word. It could be a brand or name or company or small business name. It could be on the side of someone's tool chest, but it says steadfast. That's important. Like I just got the chill again when I said that. Let me see what this says. It's important. It is related. I mean,
Okay.
I even got a chill again right now.
Okay, so this person is in some way associated with this word, whether it's a business, something itself.
I
RV.
think have an RV repair thing. They might have tools. Like if you look at, there's a few things related to the words. There's even the Steadfast RV Park,
Right.
which also has a bull tractor in front. Like there's potential. So like if someone was keeping a track, they'd see that and then put every potential. And at some point, every potential, you'll see a cluster. Cluster in
This is just inciting more people to do crazy things.
the clues. Like, okay, it's all pointing this way now,
Right. You know what really is so weird to me is how controlling it feels like CP and KP are over their son's disappearance and the information that gets out. Right.
But they
By
don't
like-
even want people to talk about it.
right. And this,
What, you want your son back? No, they don't want him back. They never even said they want him back. Have you noticed that?
I know. And then you,
Are you fucking joking? Are you joking right now? They've never said that they want him back.
Said, oh, we miss him. We need him.
Right.
Please help us. No,
Right.
they've said people need to stop talking about this.
and
And
you
even
see-
at one point, Chris said, I'm not worried because in a month or so, this will go away. He said that a few months ago, too. Sorry to
Right.
interrupt. Go ahead.
Where did he say that? Where did that happen?
and you think about and compare how Nina cried about her baby being stolen and then how Katie acts and her son is gone.
She's just blunt.
Night and day difference.
She's just blunt, no emotion.
Weird.
And she
That's
looked
freaky.
at him for every answer.
You know what always gets me too, Donna, is that one interview where she changes her voice and suddenly has this like Southern thing going on, Southern draw going on. And he won't it, blah, blah, blah. And she's doing like the Southern thing. Do you know what
Another one mocking. Another one mocking Katie.
I'm talking about? It's the hands.
Yeah.
Wait, was it the hands interview? It might have been. But it's the one that shows just their hands together. And then she's talking so sweet like this. And I asked Seth about that. He goes, yeah, everybody's like calling bullshit on that because I know she doesn't talk like that.
Once again, telling you she talks to Seth. Good night, Air Force vet.
So
Yeah.
it couldn't be more obvious that she's feigning emotion.
Yeah, so
Feigning emotion.
that could be potentially borderline personality disorder, too. I mean,
That's-
and
Now potentially diagnosing Katie.
And that's another reminder. Is Seth told me, I've talked to him on the phone a couple times, and he told me that when he was married to her, he woke up a few different times where she had been drinking and she just started attacking him while he was asleep,
Yeah.
physically. So they're
Again, there's no proof of that.
There you've got that as well. So
Those are just allegations.
then on this reading, right, at 14 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm saying, a name popped into my head now. You know what? These can be random or they can mean something. So I just got to say, because sometimes there's mind garbage. You know, sometimes you're just picking something floating up out there. But it says a name popped into my head right now, and this can be random or can it mean something? So I just got to say first, Danny comes in. Danny boy, Danny O, then Danella, like it's I'm Danny. It's like when I hear things, it's almost like leaves on the wind, right? And so it turns out there's two Dannys in this family. One is Kathy Bowersock's nephew, Danny Guy, who builds custom homes and does custom woodwork. Then there's also, I don't know if it's does Chris Pratt have a son somewhere that moved to another state, or who was that? There's a Danny, maybe it's Danny Bowersock's son. Does he have a son named Danny? So that person moved to it. So there's two different Dannys. So I'm not accusing anyone, right? I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just.
I gotta call somebody out real quick. Hey, Bueller, get the hell out of here. Nobody wants you in here. I don't like the way you're talking, and you're being just incredibly rude to my guest. So go. See.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, Donna. I'm not taking these people.
Don't let your ass hit the door on the way out. Yeah. We've been at this so long that trolls, you know what? It's a simple delete.
Yeah.
It's a simple delete.
For sure. So it's just, I've had enough.
It's Danny.
You've had enough? Well, you sit here and openly mock the mother of a missing child, you sick, demented bitch. You've had enough?
There's a Danny involved. And I said, so phonetically think of something Daniel. Now it could be like, it would be most likely a person's name, but you always got to remember it could be the name of a nearby school, it could be a road, could be anything. So at that time, I didn't know about the relatives with that name. Right. And I also did. It turns out that they were at Danny Guy's house the night before. And Danny Guy is the person who got his computer.
And again, there's no proof of that.
They're taken by the police.
That was a Terry Lynn rumor.
And that at Danny Guy's house is where Sebastian got in trouble. But at the time of this reading,
we don't know that ever happened.
Not known that. I never even heard of him.
Okay.
So I'm not accusing him. And also, like, just know, psychics, it's all conjecture, it's speculation, it's the level of speculation, it's just people talking, and this is not a declaration of anyone's guilt or innocence.
For sure.
Good try.
Absolutely.
Let's see if there's anything. So just going on about this Danny thing again.
Yeah. That seems important for sure, Donna.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah, if it keeps, going at you like that, saying Danny, some derivative of Dan or whatever, I think it's important.
Yeah, so you got Popcorn Tooth Guy and then the Danny name.
This is one. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this one. This is probably one of the rougher ones we've reviewed. This might be the worst one that we've reviewed, just because of the re-victimization, the smiling while doing it, the complete misinformation, the disregard for any. I'm honestly astonished that somebody can do this and just think it's acceptable, to think that this is just okay. There is a missing child here, and how is any of this helpful? It's not. And you hear who they're talking to, you hear where that information is coming from. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Okay. So and then you've got this family that works together to manipulate, to cause violence, and just a brutal, vindictive family.
Right.
And then here I'm even talking about a neighborhood being built by Steadfast, or maybe she told me at this point. I don't know.
She, as in,
we have got to change laws. We have got to change laws to protect victims. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. This is unbelievable.
Seth's sister, is that what
you're talking? Seth's sister. So I what it was I didn't even upload the original reading because my other computer, which is really funny because on the Chad Daybell case, you might have been on that live stream where I started talking about Melanie Gibb being a witch. And I just get really mad.
I think I did see that. Yeah.
Sometimes when I get really mad, it affects electricity. And my computer just starts spinning like it was going to go flying out of the thing. And then from then on, my computer went down. So my computer wasn't even working. I had to sit there with my cell phone and just make a list, listen to it, make a list. And that's what's over there on my channel.
Wow. I do urge everybody in here, especially if you're a critic, a skeptic, go listen to what she's done in the past. And because they're all time-stamped, you can't contest it and say, oh, well, she somehow like manufactured it. It's not possible.
It is possible, but go on.
YouTube timestamps your video, which means it has the exact date and time
they're broad readings, so anything can fit.
That you uploaded that video. And in the instance of Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow case,
again,
that was 4 months before. There's no disputing that you didn't totally nail that whole case. But there's other ones. It's not just that. There's Gabby Petito. There's Dylan Rounds. There's, in my opinion, a lot of what you've said about Summer Wells has checked out too. Though they
a
still
lot of the stuff and the implications started being in the months following.
Yeah.
And the Gabby, so people should know that Gabby Petito, the original Gabby Petito, is on Lauren's channel here.
Yeah.
And she wanted me to do it. And then I'm like, I don't know if it was Sunday or what, but I was just like, oh, I just want to like cook breakfast and watch Netflix. If you want to put some pictures in a title, I'll just send it to you. And she uploaded it. So it has a couple 100,000 views, but people accuse me of being a liar and you know, I don't even care anymore. And when the FBI finally released their report 6 months later, confirmed every single thing.
Every detail. And you know what? Idaho 4 also, you described Koberger. I know people don't think Koberger did it, but you described him.
Did it. I would have no problem being on the execution squad for him.
I know.
Whoa. Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that he did it.
Yeah, you detailed him. And I think the whole hunter thing about him and seeing him kill things, I think he hunted a lot on his parents' property, according to his friend who's talked about it. They used to go out and shoot bow and arrows and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's why you saw that hunter thing about
Kim. But the difference is you would never do this. You would never do this to families. I've seen you talking about this. And I appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate the people who are gifted that do not do this or prey on the vulnerable and the families and things. I appreciate that. I know there's people that are gifted. This is such exploitation and the grimiest of the grimy. And please understand that I'm not trying to paint all of you with a broad brush, because the people that I know that are gifted or have visions or beliefs of that would never do such a thing. They have ethics and morals. And if they have anything, they work hand in hand with law enforcement and do not do this type of stuff. This has to be stopped. These people are the grimiest grifters of all. This is preying on the vulnerable. This is preying on the desperate who want answers, a connection. This is horrifying. Horrifying.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying, Donna?
It could be that as well.
Yeah.
But I was in because there's different parts. Like here, I'm talking about one thing, and there I'm talking in Xana's room. I go, why is there a hunter in here? Why is there a hunter? But the next day, the person that
I want us all to take a moment right quick. All of us are having a reaction to this. Every person in this chat has probably had a negative reaction to this, one way, shape, or form. Can you imagine being the parents of a missing child and waking up to this all day long on social media? 15 to 20 different channels all day long. You can hear what a horrifying, horrible, wretched person you are, being accused of things that you had nothing to do with. Salacious rumors about how you harmed people that aren't even true. All you want to do is find your missing child. Having your missing child, his dignity stripped of him. Them mocking and laughing at you at your lowest times. Can you imagine being in their shoes for one moment? And they've had to deal with this going on 7 months. And then people are mocking them that they deserve protections, that victims have rights. Terry, I do. Yes, I do. It's nonsense on the web. I rarely ever check my email. So if you email me, just let me know and I will try to check it. Hold on. Let me put it in the comments. I need to start a new one so I can just turn this one over. Oh, I'll check them. I'll check them this weekend. Tracy, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I haven't checked it in a while. You guys know why I don't ever check it. Like, can you imagine this? Yeah, Sweetie Pilo is the one that made allegations against Chris with no foundational basis to it. Oh, Amy, biggest fear I can imagine. Like that's, and my heart goes out to you. That's a lot. That's a lot to handle. And I'm sure it is your biggest. Oh, Tracy, I'm excited to see him. Yeah. And we can't protect him. There's nothing we can do besides this. Like, and this, are we doing anything? Like, there's so many days that I get off here and I'm like, what are we even doing? Like, this isn't helping. And then I'm like, you know what? If we sit by and just continue to let it happen though, and nobody says anything to stand up for these families, like, how are we to remain silent on this? Sebastian's dignity has completely been stripped of him. And that's why it's hard for me to even look at this case anymore, because a lot of that came from Seth. You hear who they're getting their information from and who they're in contact with is Seth. And then they do this to the very people that Sebastian loves, his mother, his grandparents, his stepfather, father. It doesn't. Yeah. Smiles, I think that's their intent. They're trying to push Chris. I genuinely believe that they're trying to push Chris and Katie for a negative result. I believe that they are intentionally trying to push one of them to snap. I genuinely believe that. Would you mind touching on Chasing's community post? Let me go look at it. Hold on. Oh, here, let me show you guys this. Okay, so this is Chasing Truth, the wonderful Chasing. I really like Chasing a lot and have a lot of respect for her because she, anyways, I can't imagine what she handled in the Summer Wells case. Like, I never got into that case, and now I know why. Like, this is unbelievable. Okay, so she said, don't get me wrong, this doesn't just apply to BHB, of course, but since she's talking about how the parents of missing kids don't need to watch her videos, I wanted to lay it out a little more plainly. Thumbnail is an old video, but an example of numerous videos with Sebastian's name. They don't have to watch my video. This argument, while often used by creators, doesn't fully address the issue of harassment. Even if a targeted individual chooses not to watch the videos, the content can still cause harm in other ways. Number one, public exposure. The content may be seen by others who can act on it, potentially leading to wider reputational damage, threats, or real-world consequences for the person being discussed. Number two, doxing and invasion of privacy. If the personal information is shared, it can lead to threats, stalking, or other harmful actions, regardless of whether the individual watches the video or not. Number three, mental and emotional toll. Knowing that the harmful content exists about them online can cause significant emotional stress, even if they are avoiding watching it. Yeah. Incitement of harassment by others. Even if the original creator isn't directly involved in further harassment, their audience might act on the content in harmful ways, such as by sending hate messages, spreading false information, or engaging in online harassment. Don't have to watch. Defense also fails to consider the broader impact of spreading misinformation, accusations, or slander, which can ripple through the communities and affect the person's real life relationships, reputation, and even safety. That is all spot on. And that's just a thumbnail. The content that is in it.
Hunter.
Uh-oh. There it goes. Excellent post by Chasing.
Yeah, the twin.
That was Ethan's friend, Hunter. So
Yeah.
again, that's how they show things. It's all visions. So it's like, to say the name Hunter, they show me a hunter,
Right.
to show me like
Okay, you guys, I don't think I can do any more of this today. There's almost an hour left, and I am at my wit's end. I am seriously at my wit's end. I feel so bad for this family, their loved ones. The long-term harm that is being done by people like this is I don't even know what to say anymore. Chasing, you know what? I could care less what people think of me anymore. Like, I just can't sit by and I don't know what to do to help these families anymore. It feels like we're fighting an endless battle. A hopeless battle at some days. This last week has been so ridiculous. And the people just coming out, like, proudly bragging that they've involved themselves in a missing child's case and created drama and gone after people and done things. And like the shit that is just concocted from this story and the rumors and the speculation is so much. And then to know that they've just sat here and mocked the parents of a missing child who had to take action in court, and they got a view of those parents. And instead of being like, oh my gosh, stress really takes a toll on these parents of a missing child, they have used it to openly mock them and go at them over and over again. Chris and Katie have more strength in them than I have in my toe. Let me tell you that. But I worry about their mental health, their physical health. I worry about it all because they are inciting the worst things to happen to this family. And they deserve protections. They deserve to have peace. They deserve this to stop. Right? Chasing, that's the same thing. I question myself. There's many days that I sit here and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to shut up because so many people have so much to say about how I talk about this or what I do or how I'm not doing it right or I should be doing it differently. Meanwhile, they don't do anything besides talk about us that are trying to do something. And it gets really frustrating because you feel like you're in this circle. And I have decided over and over again, I don't care. Say all the things you want to about me, but I will continue to use my voice to point out the harm that's being done to these families over and over and over again. If I can take a hit off of the families, I will do that. I will do anything to help protect these families and the victims because they don't deserve this. People are being re-victimized and abuse is not okay. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care if you're a victim and you're using your current situation to re-victimize somebody that you have a past with. That is still abuse. Abuse is abuse is abuse. And I am so thankful to stand beside all of you. In my chat, I am so thankful to stand beside so many of you. And I'm so proud to see how many people are using their voices to speak up and say something. Please understand when I'm raging, it's not about you. There's these fucking weirdo channels that have just been, I don't even give half of them attention. You guys probably don't even know who I'm talking about because they're irrelevant and they're going to stay irrelevant. But I appreciate all of you. This is, I sit here and I think about it, like the toll it takes on all of us to see this go on and to know what's happening. Can you imagine being the family though? Can you imagine waking up, even if you chose not to put it on? Their families are seeing this. Their friends are seeing this. Their communities are seeing this. If he is found alive and well, his community, his peers, it will never be the same. So we have actively destroyed a child's life that is missing. Why? Because people on social media decided to play a real life game of Clue and determine that somebody's guilty of something that we don't even know if that happened. Like for what? What's the end goal here? There's nothing. Oh my gosh, Chasing, I can't. I sat through this one earlier. I sat through and watched this one and Coffindaffer, and because this is what I was doing for content, and this about tapped me out today. No, absolutely. Subs are absolutely responsible. Absolutely responsible. People love this because it's not their lives. People are dedicated to how sick this is. Oh, absolutely. Lana, it is so terrible. You're 100% correct. Like it's fucking terrible. I'm just so thankful that more and more are using their voices and saying something and pushing back. I can't imagine if we were in a society that there was no pushback and this was just widely accepted. Unfortunately, it's too widely accepted at this point in time. Imagine losing your job, right, Charlie? And that's happened. That happens. And when you address these people, that's what they do to you too. If you call these people out, they go as real life as they possibly can because they don't like to be backed in a corner. This is their right? It's their right to trash these victims. It's their right to re-victimize these victims. So they come out swinging. But subs eat this stuff up. And yes, I go watch this stuff so I can bring it to you guys to highlight this shit. But you know me. If you know me at all, you know I'm not in there cheering it on. That is far. I'm usually probably spitting nails across the room with an earbud in. I watched that freaking video last night by that Nick's buddy without the taped mouth. I wish he would have had a taped mouth too. And it took me the third time to realize they were walking through a cemetery because I was trying not to pay attention. There was so much going on and I had an earbud in just pacing. Like crazy, crazy, crazy things that are happening. All right. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your Friday night. I'm headed to Barnes and Noble with the little one and the other half. And we're going to, you know what, Lena? I am super excited to see what the lawyer Mystery Maven has been working on. To me, she is the only advocate that I really know in this space that truly, really is like what I believe in, an advocate. Like, she is incredible. And I'm super excited to see what she has been up to and what she's working on. She gives me hope. Her voice is so important in this arena and for victims. Victims deserve to have people like her on their side. Truly. I wish there was more people like her. Truly, truly do. Oh, hey, Duchess. I didn't even see you sneak in here. I hope you got a nap and are feeling better. All right, y'all. I am out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. I probably will not see you. I might see you tomorrow. There's so much more. I want to go back to the whiteboard, but all this other stuff keeps popping off in the meantime and is more important. But if you are the praying type, say a prayer for the family. Keep them all in your thoughts because this is just amping up and it's getting worse. And they are trying to push for a reaction and a negative reaction. And I'm worried about the incitement of what they're encouraging their audiences to do. It's really becoming a dangerous situation. And it's time. A lot have to change. See you guys later. Bye.